don't have to tell you things are bad. Everybody knows things are bad. Everybody's out of work or scared of losing their job. The dollar buys a nickel's worth. Banks are going bust. Shopkeepers keep a gun under the counter. Punks are running wild in the street, and there's nobody anywhere who seems to know what to do, and there's no end to it. The air is unfit to breathe, and our food is unfit to eat. And we sit watching our TVs while some local newscaster tells us that today we had 15 homicides and 63 violent crimes, as if that's the way it's supposed to be. We know things are bad, worse than bad. It's like everything everywhere is going crazy, so we don't go out anymore. We sit in the house, and slowly the world we're living in is getting smaller, and all we say is, please, at least leave us alone in our living rooms. Let me have my toaster and my TV and my steel-belted radios, and I won't say anything. Just leave us alone. Well, I'm not going to leave you alone. I want you to get mad. I don't want you to protest. I don't want you to riot. I don't want you to write to your congressman because I wouldn't know what to tell you to write. I don't know what to do about the depression and the inflation and the Russians and the crime in the street. All I know is that first, you've got to get mad. You've got to say, I'm a human being. God damn it. My life has value. So, I want you to get up now. I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell, I'm as mad as hell, and I'm not going to take this anymore.
Alrighty. Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Thursday show. Hey, I got the date right. Isn't that amazing? This is the big Thursday show. That's right, episode 208. And I'm going through some mid 200, not mid 200s. I guess it's like the 200 midlife crisis of the show, where I'm going back and forth between deciding if I'm going to title the damn things or not. I was talking to a couple different people. See, here's the thing, folks. Here's some inside baseball for you all. I have a little bit of OCD, and by a little bit of OCD, I mean like a lot of bit of OCD. And so I like things to be nice and neat and organized, and I don't like doing things like right in the middle of other things. I like everything to be just the same from the very start, and it bothers me so much when things change like mid-course. Well, as you guys are more than likely aware, we have had some changes here. Here's what behind the YouTube wall looks like, and you can see here, ladies and gentlemen, our old live episodes. Here's episode 152 and 153. Here's a live on location episode 154, 155, and they all have the number and then the little red dots and a title between it, and they've got a thumbnail out there, yada yada yada, whatever. Well, at some point, I realized, man, doing the thumbnails and doing the titles, it's really getting in the way of me just preparing the show, and it's taking a lot of time, and it's a pain in the ass. So as you can tell, starting around episode 175, I stopped doing that. And I just went to the regular title that you guys know and that you see, the regular title screen. Here it is. There's the thumbnail. And each episode then gets the episode title in the top hand corner. Okay. And, I didn't start doing that right away because I was putting it off to the side and giving it a title. And then where did I finally change this? Around episode 194, I was like, screw it. And so what I did was I went through and I put the little red dots in, and I put it episode 194, episode 195, episode 196, episode 197. And Kate brought to my attention that she didn't like that. a couple weeks back, she said, I would like to have the titles. And I know that there are people out there that like the thumbnails, and I like making the thumbnails, but it's so much work goes into that damn thing. And here's the thing. Yeah, some of us learn with pictures. Here's the thing. I'm OCD to the point that, like tonight, we're going to be talking about the city of Muncie, and we're going to be talking about Sheriff John Sproles. Well, if I have a show where we have like 3 topics, sometimes it's hard to fit all 3 topics in. That's the same thing with the damn title. Well, I talked to a couple of listeners that I really appreciate their input. They're good listeners. They've been listeners since back in the early days of me walking around my backyard at 318 South Meridian in Winchester in my underwear, bitching about Sean Byram. They've been listening that long. And they were like, I think that you need to put the title on there. And then I did something I don't recommend for anybody. I talked to my ex-wife, and my ex-wife said, where are your damn titles? I'm not going to listen to this show. I'm not listening to the show if I don't know what it's about. And I'm like, okay. So last night, after we got done with the show, I went back through in a fit of chaos and craziness, and I changed up how I do it. So we're back to we're going to have like a kind of a title. We might talk about 5 things, but like the 2 or 3 major points of the show is going to be in the title. That's what it's going to be. And we are where we are. I'm going to fix it all to where it all looks normal. It all looks good, and we'll be there. One of these days it'll be fixed, but we're getting by. Everything's okay. I don't know why I'm telling you this. I just wanted to let you guys know. Hey, hello, welcome to the Political Spotlight. This is episode 208. We have a big show for you. Before we get into that show, however, I do want to ask you to go down there and hit that like button. If you're watching from YouTube, which you should be watching from YouTube, then go in there and click that click that thumb. I saw that, Alva. Click that thumb. Yeah, I'll think. Yeah, because I have one for Audie too. Audie's is this. It's just got his hat in. It's when Audie comes on, his hat's up there. So I'll make something for you. We'll figure something out. We can figure something out. Okay. I want to use that little cartoon they made of you. We can use that little cartoon and change. I got some ideas. I'll throw your way, Catherine. I'll make a couple things in Canva for you, and I'll let you pick between them. We can do something kind of interesting. So do the Facebook thing, get off Facebook. Do the YouTube things. Go in, like the video. If you're not subscribed, to do that. You can click the bell. That way you know when we go live. Everybody should know when we're live, for the love of God. I mean, I'm on all the time. You basically just jump on YouTube and you will find me. Figure out everything that you need to figure out, but put that damn lighthouse back up. The problem, so the problem with the lighthouse, we have the lighthouse here. The problem with the lighthouse on the screen is it's to make it in the screen where it's seen all the time. It's got to be so small. Otherwise, it just gets covered up. Man, this is so behind the scenes baseball. Nobody cares about this other than the people that I'm specifically talking to. We'll figure it out. We'll get all of that figured out. It's not like the most important thing is the talking and the politics and what's going on. It's like the little things that don't matter. The descriptions. How many of you read the descriptions? Kate's like, I don't ever read the descriptions. My ex-wife's like, I don't read the descriptions. I'm like, how do you know what the show's about? they're like, from the picture and the title. I'm like, oh my God. That's horrible. The show's about episode 208. The show's about episode 209. You didn't get pictures with Rush Limbaugh. You don't get titles with Glenn Beck. You just turn on the radio and there it is. Pretend like this is the radio. All right. So I know that's the thing. I know Alva and I think Stumblefoot. Alva and someone else. I said that the other day. And I have got to tell you, Alva, that's probably one of the happiest things I've ever read from anybody commenting, because next to everything, you do not understand how much time I spend on those damn descriptions. I spend so much time on it. Like, I could be like, hey, Kate or Brandon, could you do it? They would have it done in like 10 seconds and it would be like 5 lines. I like surprises. Now, Tweety Bird, that right there, that's almost as nice as what Alva said. So I like that too. I appreciate what Alva said. I appreciate what Tweety Bird said. And now I know what Sproles looks like without clown hair. Well, yeah, that's true. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So, hey, again, sadly, it's another 24 hours, and we have not received any more. I got to pause. Wait a minute. You mean you go to sleep with pictures of Sproles in your head? Listen, I got to be honest. I think that a large percentage of the female population might have elected him because, like, I don't have a problem saying I can understand that there are females that think that he's good looking. They're for the reason we call him GQ Johnny, because he also thinks he's good looking. Now, I think he's just an absolute nightmare because I know he is ugly and black and rotten on the inside and just completely decrepit and nasty. But I know that I have talked to some people that say that they think he is good looking. I get it, but we will hear from his own mouth tonight in an interview that he's reached 240 pounds, and he's not happy about it. He's not happy about it. So sit tight for that. We are 24 hours out from the last episode, and I will tell you, we have not received any more records, public documents from the city of Muncie. They have still refused to give us any more records. I have since issued a new record request. I did get a response back from the city from Marlene Mitchell this time. It was not nearly as snarky. She said that we have this and we are going to get it to you quickly, yada, yada, yada. I will tell you, however, that being said, do not fear, citizens, because we do have some documents and / emails that I will be presenting to you. And I have to say, I've got to give a big shout out. These documents, because it's not just me looking into this. There are lots of people looking into this. And there are lots of people looking into the green light resources thing. Now, I've got to say that. Number one, there are a lot of people, not just myself, not just media people. There are a lot of folks looking into the green light resources deal. And there are a lot of people looking into this retreat deal. And so I've got to actually reach out. There's a Muncie citizen I'm going to give her a shout out. I didn't ask if I could give her a shout out, but she's doing some good work on this. Erin Craig is her name, and her husband is Steve Craig. Steve Craig, if you recall, I think we interviewed him. Did we interview Steve Craig when he ran for council last year? I think we did. I think we interviewed Steve. Yeah, we did. We interviewed Steve. He ran for District 1 council seat, and he lost by like 7 votes. He lost by like 7 votes. So it was really close. Matter of fact, now that I'm looking back at what's going on with Ryan, he should have he should have done a recount. It is what it is. So because he ran and he's involved and he wants to be involved and his wife's been involved, they're concerned about what goes on. They've got a family and they're wanting Muncie to be as best as it can be. And so they stay involved. And so she's been looking into this, and one way or another, she's been getting some records. Now, I've got to reach out to her and find out if she's been getting records directly from personnel because of a records request. If so, I am going to flip my gourd, because if they are giving her those records, they should also be giving them to me and anybody else. There's no reason that they would be like, well, one person issued their record request a day earlier, so we're going to give it to them first. If you've got all of the records, release them. Period. Not that hard. But there is a possibility that she's not getting them from personnel. There's a possibility that she might be getting them from a specific council member who's given them some or whatever. That's a possibility too. So we'll just have to see. But along with her documents, I also sent an email today to the Muncie City Councilors, and I talked to Luke Britt. I finally talked to Luke. Luke and I spoke, and I'm going to be giving you that. So tonight's topics are going to be a discussion and a release of some documents and emails that I have. Number 1. Number 2, I'm going to tell you my conversation with Luke Britt, and I'm going to give you the play-by-play on what Luke Britt had to say. And then we're going to wrap tonight's episode up listening to an interview with the man, the myth, the legend, in his own mind, John Sproles. I was going to say something bad about him, but I won't. I'll just leave it at that. Saying John Sproles is bad enough. Okay, so first up, I want to let you guys see the email, and I want to read the email to you that I sent to the council. That way you can know where we started, okay? And so I sent this to all 9 of the council members, plus I sent it to their attorney. Dan Camp is just a sleepover for adults. Absolutely. You know, there's not even anybody of value putting this on. You know, when you go to something like this for work, when you have like a work retreat where you're going to be learning something, they generally have like, today we're going to be hearing from the National Association of Bean Counters. Here's Philip from the Bean Counter Association. And Philip, make your way to the stage. And he's got really square glasses, and he gets up there and he talks to you, and you get like a pin afterwards and all that stuff. What I'm hearing is this is just going to be like Dan and his department heads talking to the whoever goes. All right. And it's like, why can you not do that in Muncie again? Wait until you hear what Dan says about that. It is ludicrous. So today, I sent the following email to the council and their attorney. Good morning, Muncie City Councilors. And then I gave them this little note because this is long. So I was like, make sure you read to the end for Luke Britt, Indiana Public Access Counselor's thoughts on this. Below, I have included and attached as an attachment the flyer that the mayor has sent out. All right, here starts my actual document. It has come to the attention of many in the community that Mayor Ridenour is wanting all of you, along with all of his department heads, to attend a retreat in Angola, Indiana, on Friday, June 7th and Saturday, June 8th, 2024. This is being slated as being a team-building effort, and Mayor Ridenour is saying he wants to use this as a way to create long-term plans for the city. And it appears as though for the first time since he has been mayor, he is wanting to include the council in his plans ahead of time. That's not something normally that he does. So I've got to give him a little bit of a nod for that, which honestly to me sounds like he is trying to find a way of getting you all, or most of you, locked into voting with him on things he wants over the next 3.5 years. It's been said that he wants to ask you all as counselors the following questions. How can his administration help your goals for your districts and the city? Keep in mind, if he offers any help, it will come with a cost later on. What do you all as a whole council and then as individuals want to accomplish in the next 4 years? How can he as mayor help you? And more importantly, if and once he does, you can repay that by voting on his plans and projects. The retreat is said to be 2 days of strategy, coordination, and fellowship. The officials from Muncie that attend this will be staying in the historic Potawatomi Inn on Lake James. But it's not
Potawatomi.
Potawatomi. I knew someone said it. I knew both of the Potawatomi. I knew that. Someone called me earlier and told me, and I knew it was one of the other, Potawatomi or the one I said, and I picked the wrong door, of course. Potawatomi Inn on Lake James. But it's not all about work because families are invited. And that's the point that I started questioning how much this would cost and who was paying for it. Needless to say, I was shocked when I found out that he was saying the city would be footing the bill for the rooms and the food. Then you also have to think, any and all department heads that have city vehicles, they will be driving them. Those that have credit cards, will they be paying for gas? How much total will this cost? Is this a good way to spend tax dollars? Is there not a way to team build here in Muncie? Why Angola? The flyer that the mayor has sent out to you all says this is to help, I assume, the mayor's administration and the council work together for the future of Muncie, which sounds great on the face of it all, but it is important for everyone to remember. The mayor and his administration and the council are two separate forks of government. I feel like everybody's forgetting that. The council is not here to do the will and bidding of the mayor. The council is here to work for the citizens. Period. And I sent this to all of them, including Basham. One reason I feel like Counselor Basham won't return my emails or calls or texts is because when he was running for office, I was critical of him saying if he won, he would be a voice and a vote for the mayor. I quickly called that out because that is not the purpose of a counselor. As a counselor, you are to be a voice and a vote for the citizens. I feel like the mayor realizes that the current council seems a bit rudderless, and he is attempting to capitalize on that fact. And if he can swing 4 or 5 more counselors his way, along with Basham already, well, then he'll be set. You can see this by the tentative agenda items. I don't know. It's clear to me. Maybe everybody else says I'm reading too much into it, but I mean, I'll be honest. When I saw the tentative agenda items, I was like, yep, I know what this is. The mayor wants to know what you all want for your council districts. I'll scratch your back if you scratch my back, kind of thing. But remember, he promised councilors Ray Dudley and Brandon Garrett and Troy Ingram that he'd get Till Pond up and rolling. Since like 2020, we've been hearing about Till Pond. Till Pond, Till Pond, Till Pond. Guess what's still not anywhere close to being something? That's right, Till Pond. It's 2024, folks. Still nothing. He wants you all, as counselors, to get to know the city department heads. Who doesn't know them already? If you're an elected official in the city of Muncie and you don't know the department heads of the city of Muncie and it's May, you need to resign your seat and walk away. He then wants to talk to them, to you all, about long-term plan inclusion. This is where it will be interesting. Next, he wants to discuss budgeting for 2025 and beyond. By the way, one of his campaign promises in 2018 and 19 was to have the budget to the council in June or July of each year for the council to start working on it. But still, as of now, as of May 2024, that has never happened. What he and Craig, the controller, Craig Wright, what they've done every year is to do it up the way they want the budget to be done and to give it to the council as late as possible, making the council's job hard. And then lastly, he just has Station 5 and Station 3 listed. Obviously, he's talking about fire stations. What is he wanting to do here? Spend another $8 million per fire station to give to Aaron Clark's cousin? Dear Lord, I hope you guys hold him to getting bids for any other major project like that. Again, this is some strange attempt to try and low-key buy future council votes for projects he wants to jam through. If anyone doesn't understand that, like I don't know. You're just out of the game, I think. It's so easy to see what he's doing here. He's wanting to promise them things, ways that they can get things done. He's wanting to promise them help. And some of those things they might get, some of them they might not get. He wants them to all feel like they're being promised help. You'll all get this, or we'll all do that for the various council districts. Raise your hand if you want an unfinished project in your neck of the woods. That's what you get with Dan Ridenour. However, we haven't even covered the biggest issue, which is how does this jive with the open door laws? Okay. Now, here I'm going to put a pin in this email, and I'm going to put a pin in the documents really briefly to cover my phone call with Luke Britt. I called him yesterday, left a message. Today we got back in touch. We got in touch with each other. And I said, hello, Luke. Hey, I feel like you've probably talked to a couple council members from Muncie, maybe a couple citizens. And he said to me that he had been contacted by a citizen I now know that that citizen was Aaron Craig, and he said he had not yet heard from any council members, nor had he heard from the administration. So he was like, you know, are you calling about the same thing that this other citizen's emailing about? And I'm like, yeah, probably so. So back up, Catherine, when you're saying, is this a quorum? Yeah, he's wanting all 9 council members there. That's the problem. He's wanting all 9 council members to be there. So that would be a problem. Obviously, with a 9-member council, 5 is a quorum. So he's wanting all 9 of them to be there. But this gets wild. So bear with me. Stay here. So I asked Luke, hey, have you heard of this? Okay, back up. Why is American Honey? Why is what a problem? Why is it a problem that Dan wants to send these people? I'm getting ready to tell you right now. And I appreciate that question. Because in the state of Indiana, and moreover in America, when the government meet, okay, I'm getting ready to tell you right now, because well, let me back up. I'll tell you that I'm going to tell you through my answer with Luke Britt. So let me back up. I contacted Luke Britt. For those that might not know, Luke Britt is the Indiana Public Access Counselor. So for those of you that are not familiar with this, or this is your first rendezvous with politics and government, there are laws that govern what are public documents. There are laws that govern what are meetings, how those meetings are to be ran, and what meetings are to be open, which means open to the public, what meetings are to be, or what meetings can be closed, what is a public document, yada, yada, yada. And basically, anytime you have a voting body, so if you have a voting body, if it's a 5-member board, a quorum is, so in a 9-member body, this council's a 9-member body, 5 votes are a yes vote. Okay. Yeah. Well, that is one. American Honey, also Robert's Rules of Order. But specifically here, we're talking about law. Those books are guides, and they can be used or not used. But we're specifically talking about Indiana codes, state law. Okay. So the public access laws of the state of Indiana say that a quorum can never be together in a closed room meeting discussing city business that is not open to the public. If they are, that is a violation. So with the Muncie City Council being a 9-member board, 5 members are a quorum. So 2 council members could go, and this wouldn't be an issue. 3 could go, and this wouldn't be an issue. 4 could go, and this wouldn't be an issue. But if 5, 6, 7, 8, or 9 go, that will be an issue, because they are, and I'll tell you why here in a minute. So in contacting Luke Britt, the public access counselor, we were talking, and I said, all right, I want to give you the basic information. I don't want to color your opinion, and I want you to tell me what your opinion is of this. And he said, okay. And I said, so the mayor of Muncie wants to have a retreat. And he said, okay. I said, he wants to take his department heads. Now, listen, if mayor, any constitutional office has term limits. So clerk has term limits. But any auditor has term limits. Any
the recorder, auditor, clerk, sheriff. I don't think assessor does.
I don't think assessor does. Governor does not.
Coroner does not.
Coroner does.
Coroner does?
Yes, coroner.
I thought it was unlimited. Sorry.
No. Coroner has it. Yep.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
It's been a day today.
Yes, no, you're fine. You're fine. Like Star Chambers. Sorry, I don't mean. No. You're fine. Yeah, you're good. No, this is no problem. This is a very interactive show. I like people to interact. That's no problem. You're very good. So I called Luke Britt and I said, all right, so here's the deal. If the mayor was wanting to take his department heads to a retreat, his department heads being the personnel director, the police chief, the deputy chief, the fire chief, the building inspector, the community development director, his like the board of works people. If he wanted to take them on a retreat, he could take them on a retreat and it would be no harm, no foul. He's allowed to do whatever he wants with them that he wants to. He could take them up here to Angola. He could take them to Florida. He could take them to New York. He could take them to London. I don't matter. The only thing that he would have to worry about is the look of it. Would people be okay with him spending the money on doing something like that? How much would it cost? And would there be better expenditures of money doing something else than what he did? So that's the only thing he'd have to worry about. The problem is when he puts the council into it and he wants the council to be there. Now, I will tell you what Luke Britt said. Technically, the mayor could have a retreat for all 9 council members if he wanted. If the retreat was a training event where they were going to train on how to write better ordinances, or they were going to train on Robert's Rules of Order, or they were going to train on, some kind of new state law that was coming down and affecting local government, that would be perfectly fine. Also, if it was just a social event, if it was like a Christmas party, if it was a 4th of July party, if it was a, hey, let's go get naked and go to a nudist camp, and we're just going to flop around and be, naked. Perfectly fine. The problem, team building could also be okay where you're just learning who people are and trusting. The problem, though, is when we bring in the fact that the mayor has put together an agenda, and the agenda says this: the City of Muncie Council, City Muncie Council Administration Department Heads Long-Term Planning Retreat. So if you're talking about short or long-term plans for the City of Muncie, plans that the council will one day vote on, it has to be open to the public. It cannot be closed door, because if it's closed door, they could go ahead and make their decisions on things now, and we would never have input, and the public is allowed to have input. So it says long-term planning retreat. That's the first problem. It goes on to say, how can the administration help your goals within your districts? So that means the councilors would be telling the mayor things that they want in their districts. Those are things that the public should be there for. What as a whole do we want to accomplish in the next 4 years? Though that's short-term plans. What do we want to do in the next 4 years? Those are things that the public should be there for. Let's work together for the future of Muncie. 2 days of strategy, coordination and fellowship, stay in the historic inn, yada, yada, yada. All that's good. Okay, it is what it is. Then we get down here to this tentative agenda. Let us know what you want for your district. That's a problem. Get to know the city department heads. I mean, that's okay, but it's kind of wonky because they already know them. Long-term plan inclusion. That's a problem. Budgeting for 2025. The council is going to have to start the budget process here in just a couple of months. This is a problem. That right there is a problem. Having station 5 and 3 on there, first of all, that just bugs the piss out of me because it should be stations 3 and 5. So that bothers me. But second of all, having those fire stations on there is funky. That should not be. So the fact that he has listed this as an agenda, he's saying that this is a meeting. Luke Britt, ladies and gentlemen, said, given what he is being told and from this agenda, from this flyer, that the mayor put forward, he would advise the council to pass on attending. He would tell the council to not go. So in my email to the council, I go on and say that. However, we haven't even covered the biggest issue, which how does this jive with the open door laws? And then I let them know. So I called Luke Britt, the Indiana Public Access Counselor. I gave him his phone number if they wanted to call. And I read the flyer that you guys have been getting from Shireen. And Luke said the following: obviously, the mayor could have a retreat for his department heads, and or he could even hold something for you all if it was training or purely a social gathering. But when there is a clearly defined agenda, and the point would be to talk about plans and or future plans for the city, specifically items laid out in the flyer like long-term plans for the city, how can the administration help your goals for your districts and the city, what do we want to accomplish in the next 4 years, budgeting for 2025 and beyond, and station 3 and 5, then that is an issue. Luke Britt said if he was advising the council, he would advise them to pass on going to this. All right. Now I want to stop there. I also want to say, Luke said there's nothing that stops the mayor from having a meeting or there being a public meeting off campus. And there's no problem with the mayor saying, yeah, we want to meet, somewhere nice or something. Here's the problem. He said the fact that even if he says, yes, this is an open door meeting, the fact that this is 2 hours and 15 minutes away from Muncie is a problem, because they cannot expect citizens to hop in their vehicle and drive there. Are they planning to live stream this event or whatever? So he said, do you know if he's calling this an open door meeting? Well, at the time I talked to, what's he saying? And at the time I talked to Luke, I did not have an answer. I do have an answer on that now. We'll get to that in a minute. I want to go back to the email that I was continuing to send the council. I went on and said, so from my point of view, I am asking / telling you all as elected officials, as public servants, to not go to this event. Hell, beyond the open door issues, there are other problems, such as, is this really what the city should be spending money on? Why can the mayor not hold this very same meeting or / retreat here at City Hall where citizens can attend? So here is the part I will be asking you to respond to. As an elected official, as of this email, please reply to the email with your name, and then please state if you are attending this event or if you are not attending this event. And I then sent this out to the council members. Okay. So we sent that there. Catherine says, see, you're looking at this wrong, but she didn't say anything else. Are you typing something to us, Catherine? Could they call it an executive session? And said, no, they could not call this an executive session. Luke Britt has said with what this is, plain and simple, it is absolutely an open door meeting. Did you follow the email up with a text message to check their emails? Well, so let me tell you what happened. Shame that their email, well, some of their emails are working. So stand by here 1 second. So I sent that out to the council. Now, let me tell you, from the council's perspective, what they then sent back to me. Oops, whoa, that was nuts. From the counselor's perspective, I received the following responses back. I talked to, hold on, give me 1 second here. I was having that problem. Okay, sorry. Okay. So let me make this large enough so you can see it. Okay. 175. Billy McIntosh responded to me and said, William McIntosh, I have concerns to why we couldn't retreat right here in Muncie. So no, I will not be attending this retreat. Retreat! And he must be a fan of Baby Reindeer because he sent this from his iPad. He did not send this from his iPhone. I was hoping he sent this from his iPhone. Well, anyhow, he sent this from his iPad. So he's not attending. Okay, that's Billy Mack. He is not. Yeah, that's yeah. Right, Catherine. That's what I'm saying. Number one, why are we not keeping the damn money with our own county? No question. It's stupid. What kind of economic development are we doing here? Why are we trying to give all of this money to Steuben County? He's so lost. It's amazing. He just kills me. All right. So that was Billy Mack. Next, Sarah Gullion, District 4, says, I am not attending. Sarah Gullion. So let's make a note here. Of who's not going and who is. All right. So Billy Mack and Sarah Gullion. Okay. Next. That's 2 not going. So there's still technically a quorum that are. All right. Let's go to next. Okay. Next up. Whoops. No, you're fine. You're fine. District 2, Nora Powell. I am not attending. Nora Powell, City Council, District 2. Nora Powell told me she is not going. Now, I have not received an email from Brandon Garrett, but he made another statement to me in another way and told me that he was not going. So although I have not received an email from him, I am going to mark that down because he did tell me that he was not going. So that's now 1, 2, 3, 4 council members that I know are not going. So technically, there is still a quorum that could be going, and that leaves Jeff Green, Jerry Dishman, Harold Mason, Rose Selvey, and Dale Basham. So we'll have to wait and see. Now, I also want to let you guys know that I have a couple of other emails that did not come through me. These emails, again, I want to give the credit to Aaron Craig. These came through Aaron Craig. And the emails go as following. So I want to do it in the order that they first came in. Dan, the word I'm getting is Dan first started emailing the council on May 8th about this. And he emailed the flyer. This is the flyer that he emailed. It looks like this when we blow it up. There and there without the pretty picture. Okay. He emailed this to them on May 8th, and he told them to RSVP by the 15th. Okay. Well, the other day, we knew that we got this bill. We had this bill for 25 rooms, for $3,419.75. We had that. Well, today, we also received this little bill, which that's what it looks like. We'll blow it up, and it looks like this. Party name, City of Muncie, event date, 6/7/24, telephone, booking contact, Shereen Wegley, email, site contact. So Wegley's going, but she's a department, or she's a admin, so it doesn't matter. Please review the information below, and if there are any changes that need to be made, please contact the sales office. Please, charges shown on this contract are based on information provided. If changes are made to the items listed, the total estimated amount due is subject to change as well. Event agenda has them arriving and leaving on the 7th and the 8th. The next has this. Says meeting room, $600. Taxes, $642. Pricing, all guest room rates are subject to state, county, and tourism taxes, which currently are at 12%. We consider your group not to be tax exempt unless you prove otherwise with the Indiana General Sales Tax exempt certificate prior to your arrival. County tax will be charged regardless. All food and beverage selections are subject to a 7% sales tax and 20% service charge. A charge of $50 per man hour shall be assessed for any changes made within 3 business days of the event. This includes change of setup, location, moving tables, chairs, equipments from one area to another, unless due to weather and or the discretion of the inn. The inn assigns the meeting room accordingly to the anticipated number of guests and current scheduled food and beverage in the event. The numbers, and then it drops off, and I don't have the other 3 pages. So I'm still waiting to get my record request from the City of Muncie. Hopefully the other 3 pages will be there. I'm just giving you what I've currently got. Now, along with this, apparently, Nora sent a message to Dan somewhere on the 9th or the 10th, and she said the following. And that following is that Nora said, Mayor, thank you for the invitation. Strategic planning, team building, and increased communication between the administration and city council have benefits, not only for us, but for our entire community. However, I'm concerned a weekend retreat at the Pokagon State Park Inn will not be received well by the public. Those I've spoken with have questioned the use of city resources. More importantly, if more than 4 counselors attend, it's my concern that discussing strategic plans or current projects could violate Indiana open door laws. As Shireen once said in an email, it could simply imply impropriety in the future. And why would they want to do that? Have you considered hosting this retreat locally? There are several locations available to us at no cost or for a minimum fee. This would allow the city to support local catering business as well. Participation would most likely increase because those unable to commit to an entire weekend away may still be able to attend some breakout sessions scheduled throughout the weekend. By offering the same sessions that address council-specific issues at multiple times, you would eliminate potential issues with Indiana open door laws. I appreciate you creating opportunities to increase communication within city government. I want us to work together for a better Muncie. However, I will need clarification of the concerns I've expressed. Okay, well, that's interesting. I appreciate Nora's concern. Here was what Dan had to say to Nora, and that is here. Nora, he sent this on Monday, May 13th. Nora, I was out of the office on Friday, so I just now saw this. So that would, okay, the 12th, the 11th, the 10th. So that would make sense if she sent it like on the 8th, 9th, or 10th. That would make sense. I was out of the office on Friday, so I just now saw this. This will be a public meeting, he says. This fool literally says this will be a public meeting. That is how other cities have done this. Dan, I don't give a rip how other cities have done it. You, pal, are in a world of hurt with everything going on right now. And with the lack of transparency that you have offered for the last 4 years, and for the insanity going on within your breakout commissions and boards, having a right-hand man off on administrative leave being investigated by the state police, you would figure, dude, you'd want to do anything that you could to be above board. It blows my mind. Blows my mind. Just how other cities have done this. It was presented as a successful best practice method. A best practice method at the Mayor's Institute by AIM. We will post the event at City Hall and at the site. What a smartass. He's going to post an open door meeting at the site of this event.
Did you know that AIM, the Mayor's Institute, actually sends out like handbooks?
Yeah.
And they send them to the city clerk and they send one to the mayor.
Mm-hmm.
Wouldn't that make it a public document?
It sure would. Absolutely. Oh, yeah.
I wonder if it has anything in that handbook about best practices.
Yeah, I will definitely reach out and get us a copy of that. Matter of fact, I will just, while we are going to this, well, while I'm reading this, can you pull up the AIM website?
Yeah.
The Association of Municipalities. Thank you, ma'am. That would be very cool. We will post the event at City Hall and at the site. AIM Legal concurred that this was proper. All right, dude, but did you contact Luke Britt, the public access counselor? What about that? It has been found that sites just out of town work best. This is not just out of town. This is 2 hours and 15 minutes away. This is not just out of town. Like, he is so daft. It's not even funny. I don't understand him sometimes. It's really, really, really crazy. If you want to be honest, it's really nuts. So okay, yeah, look. Let me see here. Okay. Muncie. I'll show you right here. Yeah, look right here. Look at this. Look at this nice thing. Sorry. Here we are. I mean, look at where we're talking about, folks. We're literally talking about in Michigan. He might as well had this thing, 2 hours and 29 minutes, 127 miles. 127 miles. Just outside of town is Anderson. Just outside of town is Memorial Park in Newcastle. Just outside of town is Prairie Creek Reservoir in Delaware County. Hell, we could have even went to Pigman up in Matthews. But, dude, I mean, just know.
Says you need to map the closest dispensary to the.
Yes. Yes. Okay, so real quick, going back here, this just says this is an opportunity for council members to bring goals and hopes for their districts to the administration and the department heads. Well, we see what Nora said. She's not going. All right. Now, we don't have Sarah Gollion's email to Dan, but I do have Dan's email back to Sarah, which says, and this was on May 10th, Sarah, sorry you can't make it. This type of event is occurring with great success in some other cities. It was discussed as a topic at the Mayor's Institute last month. We will have it again next year, he says. It allows me and department heads to hear directly what city council members are wanting in their districts. Really has helped cities set some priorities. Hopefully you can make it next year. This is funded by Edit. Best regards, Dan Ridenhour. Now, it's my... Here's... I'm going to be really honest. It's my goal now to get all of the council members to not go, and me and Audie still go and hang out with the mayor and Shireen Wegley and the police chief and all their fun friends. And that would be a real, because I'm going to sit up there and blast Dan for wasting tax dollars on this disaster piece. So, okay, you got AIM there. Oh, yeah, I see it. Let's work together to build a brighter future for Indiana. Okay. Can you click on those 3 little dots up there by AIM? Other corner. Lines, I mean. Okay, can you search? Can you type in retreat? Oh, was that a calendar they had? By chance, can you make that go to June? Okay, so they don't have anything booked for the 7th and the 8th. So they're not involved with it. Well, I tell you what I'll do tomorrow. I will contact AIM and see what they have to say. Here's Valpo swears in Mayor's Youth Council. 4 must-see theater projects. Remember, yeah, I don't see anything. I don't see anything.
No, I was in here digging earlier to see if I could find anything about what, the discussions were at the last one and that kind of thing. Where was it? No, that wasn't it. I found where they had the agenda for the retreat. But I know where I did it. That calendar down here at the bottom. There it is. So they had the thing in April, right?
Yeah.
So that's May, April. Sorry, I have to remember. This is the class, and that's what they have on it.
Okay, yeah.
Agenda. So breakfast, welcome, housing challenges, the link between the arts and quality of place, comprehensive review of tax increment financing, TIF districts, facilitated roundtable, innovative approaches to public safety. So I don't see anything in this that's got anything to do with having a retreat 2.5 hours away from the city but whatever. Maybe it came up during the brainstorming.
Maybe they were brainstorming.
Yeah, the brainstorming.
Green Needle.
But I couldn't find anything beyond that.
Green Needle. Yeah, I don't. That's weird. Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. So, those are the public documents that I have pertaining to this. I have those public documents. I have the emails that the 3 council members sent me. And because of my information with Brandon Garrett, I'm aware. So I've got 4 council members not going. I've got 5 council members that are question marks. For the record, those 5 that are question marks are Jeff Green, District 1, Jerry Dishman, District 5, Harold Mason, District 6, Dale Basham, at-large, District 1, Rose Selvey, at-large, 2, and that's it. So I will keep you posted on what goes on with this and let you know what we hear, let you know when we get more records, and I will keep it rolling. You know what Luke Britt said, and that's that. So hopefully, ladies and gentlemen, we will have more information from the people involved, and we'll figure out what kind of game the mayor is playing here, because it's absolutely nuts. and we'll go from that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the folks from Henry County, the people that really, really are here for one thing and one thing only. Let's listen to an interview with a weirdo. All right, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, here is the one, the only, the one, the only Mr. Your Sheriff from Henry County, John M. Sproles.
John, S as in Sam, P as in Paul, Roles, Henry County Sheriff.
Perfect. Have you got a sound level you like?
Everything's great. I just want to make sure that this doesn't pop out.
Got it.
Do you have any makeup or anything you can help me with?
At the shop, not here with me.
That's the most asked thing.
I'm just.
Women always tell me that they want me to make them look thin. It doesn't matter
Well,
how thin
I
they are,
need
how
that
big
because
they are.
I saw 240.7 the other day, and that freaked me out. I'm 230, 233 today, but buddy, that 240 rung. That's dry shipping weight. That ain't in uniform. Oh, well, that's
It's actually funny. You're good? Terrific. You've been sheriff now for 14 months.
correct.
Okay. How would you describe your style of administering your department?
My style of leadership, I guess the best way to describe that is what I told our officers in our first department meeting. I said, I want to explain to you my style of leadership just so you can know how I operate. And so I said, I will probably never yell at you, but I won't tell you 50 times to do something. So I said, if I say, hey man, let's not do that again, if you have to take that as me yelling it, I mean, let's not do that again. So I am not
okay.
You're not going to hear me yelling at guys. Haven't done it once in 14 months. I don't intend to. Now, situations can get intense sometimes. I can't say that I've actually had, I can say that I actually have not had an intense situation with any employee in 14 months. But my leadership style would be, I grew up in an environment of, hey, this is the way you do it this way, and don't do that. I didn't have a lot of leeway to say, well, I'll do it however I want to. I quickly would learn that wasn't a good.
So it's strict.
It was strict. It was strict. It was strict, but in love. Yeah. Great parents. My dad's a pastor. My dad has been a pastor for over 50 years.
Bottom lip, and it's really weird.
Obviously, my mom has been a pastor's wife for over 50 years, and we grew up in a protected environment, I'll say.
Okay.
When I got into law enforcement as a reserve the first go around, I remember, of course, I was 21. I was young, and growing up in a church background, it was an eye opener. I was like, whoa, there's another side of life out here. But back to my administrative style, I care about people. I don't want to. I want to attempt at least to always, consider their feelings,
Save the best for last, Diane.
And I want to be fair.
Do you delegate or are you hands-on?
I delegate a lot. I don't know if that's
is that what you call it?
A strength. I guess it can be a strength and can be a weakness. But I delegate quite a bit. But I have wonderful long-term officers here that are in leadership positions. And I only delegate when I can trust the individual. And so I have people here that I can trust, that they uphold the same values that I do. And one thing that that I don't make any apologies for, coming from a Christian background in a pastor's home. Our mission statement for the Henry County Sheriff's Office it's taken from a Bible verse, and it's very simple. It is do justice, love mercy, and be humble. And I remember after winning the general election, then it started to get real of, hey, January 1st, these people are in your care. I want to say something about realizing these people are in your care. I had some people a month or so after I had been in office that said, what's the biggest realization that hit you become the sheriff?
Sure.
I said, very, very clearly, I can tell you the biggest realization and the biggest weight. January 1st landed on a Sunday. And that evening I was walking back through the jail and just checking on staff. I mean, that's the first day. Of course, I knew all the people, all of our staff. But there was a lady that was just yelling and having some mental distress. And I remember I went over and opened her cell, and I tried to talk to her best I could, tried to see what I could do to help her. But I remember when I walked out that night, I walked out the door, and it hit me. There are 225 inmates here that are under your care. And that was a weight that settled down. I thought, whoa, they're under your care. And so,
but with that
yes.
understanding, you've had a couple of incidents
Yes.
here
Yes.
in the last year,
Yes.
last 8 months,
Mm-hmm.
that politely have gone awry.
Mm-hmm.
The pepper ball incident, February 13th.
Mm-hmm.
I guess there was some sort of search being done
Correct.
in the jail.
Correct.
And to do that, you have to clear all your detainees out.
Correct.
And you had one detainee, Matthew Flick, who,
Mm-hmm.
based on what he told me
Mm-hmm.
and based on what I read in the probable cause affidavit,
Mm-hmm.
was doing the things that he was told to do. Did he provide any problem for jail staff since he's been?
I got to pause this for a second. American Honey, anything that you can bring forward to me on that, I would have no problem putting forward. Bottom line is, since about 2020, I have been actively involved in Henry County politics and government. And since that time, I have been actively looking into the situation with that. And honestly, there's a lot of he said, she said, they said. But the bottom line is there's very seldomly anyone who will step forward and put their name out and put their name on the line. There's very little proof. In the bottom line is, and this was one of my first issues with John Sproles. See, what John does not admit, and he won't admit, and he conveniently forgets this. I was on Sproles' side for the first couple months of the election. I liked Sproles. I didn't know. First of all, I didn't know that Sproles had only been in the sheriff's department for 3.5 years. Okay. So that's right there. I thought he'd been on the road for 15, 20 years. And I was like, yeah, he looks the part, looks like a good, he cleans up well. He's in his tight little, tailored uniform, and he looks the part and he plays the part well, yada, yada, yada. When I found out that he had only been on the road for 3 years, I was like, skirt. Okay, because now, first of all, listen, sheriff is a constitutional position. just like we were talking with the term limits for governor and for coroner and sheriff and yada 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 yada, clerk. Anybody can be sheriff in 3 years. American honey, if you fit the requirements to run for office in the state of Indiana, you could run for sheriff. And if you win, you would be sheriff. Anyone can win sheriff. Now, that harkens back to an older time when things like that would occur. That's like around, the founding of this country. And maybe, that type of thing should be looked at. I don't know. That's for another day and time. But listen, I've been in law enforcement for years. I was a police officer. I worked in the prosecutor's office, and I have experience and know full on. I know good cops. I know bad cops. I know extremely good cops, people that would be amazing, and we need hundreds of thousands more like them. And I know extremely bad cops. I know people that washed out. I was a field training officer. I've been a patrolman. I've been an investigator. I've been a narcotics investigator. I've interviewed and worked all various kinds of different cases, the whole gamut. And so I understand how that goes. I'll be perfectly honest. John Sproles should have washed out in the field training time. If John Sproles would have been an officer on the Muncie City Police Department, John Sproles would not be a police officer today. He would have washed out in field training. He would have done dumb things, and they would have got rid of him. John Sproles does not have the mentality for leadership. John Sproles comes from a family business where basically what the boss says goes, and it doesn't matter what's right, wrong, or indifferent. It's just what the boss says goes. And law enforcement is not like that. Law enforcement is very much this is the way that it's supposed to be. This is what you do. This is what you don't do. And it's that. John has made radical changes since John won the primary. Between that date and now, over 158 years of experience have either left or been terminated, or for one reason or another have split with the Henry County Sheriff's Department, and that's bad. He has a lot of young rookies working for him. That's bad. He has a lot of people that look up to him, that think he's cool, that think he's like, and they'll do anything that he says. He thinks that when he puts that on, being sheriff, he's above the law. He thinks that makes him above the commissioners, that makes him above the council, it makes him above the coroner, it makes him above, I assume, prosecutors and judges. He's the sheriff, and he can pull people over in unmarked car in plain clothes, which is illegal. He can shoot people, at point blank range with not non-lethal, but less lethal. Less lethal means it still could be lethal rounds, and has just done a lot of crazy things. And I just he's very scary. I've seen him get mad. I've seen him use his personal, I've seen him use his position to wage personal war against critics. I've seen him violate people's rights. And so the biggest issue with Sproles that I've seen him do over and over and over, he's currently actively doing it to me, is he is pushing forward a narrative in which he has no proof, no evidence, and no justification for, but yet he continues to make an allegation, which is a very serious allegation. In my opinion, if I didn't talk, if I was just a person on Facebook that didn't like him, if I wasn't a political commentator, I would hands down be able to sue him for slander or defamation because of what he has said and done. But because I put myself out here and I put myself out to be criticized, very similar to elected officials, I have a little bit higher burden of proof there. So it is for that. But he is definitely not in a position that he should be. I'll tell you that. The people of Henry County are not safer because John Sproles is sheriff of Henry County. That's interesting. Let me go back to.
I don't and I
that much, but I don't think it looks like Richard Allen either.
Here, I would say this, and we'd both laugh. I mean,
that's
Matthew,
interesting though.
He can run his mouth, and he would laugh when I said that, because it's I've dealt with Matthew on the street. I have I back there, like I said, quite a bit, connecting with these people, and Matthew's he's always treated me with respect. I've always treated him with respect. And so,
but has he been written up? Has he been disciplined?
In the last segment of time that he has been here, he's been here a few different times. He has not. And so, so to my knowledge, there hadn't been any issues or anything that would have led up to an incident.
So did he have any personal relationship with the CO that was fired?
I don't know that. I don't think so. I'm not aware of any personal relationship.
Were there complaints from staff about him?
No, we hadn't had any complaints. And again, I checked his file to see if he had been written up. He had a couple minor write-ups in a previous stay that, quite frankly,
But during the stay, since he's been here in November?
No, we have not.
So he's been a citizen.
Mm-hmm. Correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you explain what happened? I mean, I know what happened.
Yes, correct.
Can you explain it?
Well, I was the one that wrote the media release, and I think I tried to explain it as well as I understood it. In that, in as you said, they were doing a search in a cell block, so they had moved them into the indoor recreation area. They had the inmates to sit down, feet towards the wall, facing the wall. And they were to sit there until the search was over. Then they would be taken back.
If you're on social media, American Honey, I know you're using a screen name here, but if you're on social media, hit me up at Christopher H. Bilbrey. And if you're interested in telling me any of those stories, I would definitely be interested in listening
To their cell block.
I mean, off record.
So the way I understand it, and
whatever.
I've watched the camera footage. There was just an exchange there was just a verbal exchange with language that I don't condone as the sheriff. And when we talk we're very crystal clear to our officers. We don't condone foul language. I know it can happen, but I've made it clear. And some people may laugh at this, but I make it very, very clear to all officers. I do not accept dropping F-bombs. I just don't do that, period. But especially in interacting with citizens.
Because that escalates.
It escalates. We had a situation a while back before I was the sheriff, and there was a situation that kind of went viral. And I remember talking to that officer, great guy. But we kind of went back and looked, and I said, it's interesting if you would just pull the F word out of everything that was said. It's just three times, pull the F word out, and you have an entirely different situation. It would have never gone viral.
But your COs know if they use this language,
goofy.
they're out of line.
They do. And I'll be honest with you. I have terminated several COs specifically for this.
Just for language.
Yes, because when I say just for language, it's the whole setting. You know, the language is coming from just berating them. Shut your effing mouth. I'm not going to tolerate that. And we had several COs that had been here a long time.
See, he focuses on the wrong thing. he focuses on the wrong thing. Because listen, I can tell you what he's saying is right. When it's verbal judo that a lot of newer cops talk about and things, when you're out on the street and you're talking to someone and everything's calm and you get amped up and you start yelling and you start F this, F that, that is amping the situation up. You're going to start doing it. They're going to start doing it. Then you're going to do it back. Then they're going to do it back. And then you get to at some point where you're rolling on the ground and you're fighting someone. And yeah, maybe it's necessary, maybe it's not. Listen, I've also been the same person that says there are different kinds of people out there. I could tell 98% of the people that I've arrested from a quarter of a mile away, hey, you're under arrest over there. Put your hands behind your back and walk towards me. And 98% of the people would do it. 98% of the people would do it. But there are a certain subsection of people, white people, black people, Hispanic people, Asian people, it doesn't matter what race, doesn't matter if you're man or woman, doesn't matter if you're rural, it doesn't matter if you're urban, it does not matter where you're from or what the deal is. There are a certain amount of people that will not, shut the F up, set the F down, you're under effing arrest. And there are certain people out there that's just that way. Okay? That's the thing. There are people like that out there. But cops get in a bad way of doing that. So I get what he's saying, but he is going about this too crazy. Tell your guys to not say it. Knock it off. Firing people for, an F-bomb slipping out here or there, that's stupid. All right, that's just stupid. Thinking that that's going to make you the town hero, that's stupid. How about you not violate people's rights, John? And that would make you more of a hero. How about you not shoot someone with a shotgun in a jail cell for kicking a steel door because you're trying to stop them? You had to hurt him to stop him from hurting himself. How about you not do that? That might make you more of the hero.
And
he doesn't understand why we don't see him as the hero here.
And as I told him, hey, I'm not going to yell at you. I'm just telling you, I'm not going to tolerate the foul language and the abusive language towards the inmates. I'm just going to
tolerate the abuse.
It may slip. You're used to doing that. I'm not the language police. I get it. It could slip in.
But you are.
Escalated situation.
But that's your jail.
Yes.
These are your rules.
Yes.
It's clear to them this is not allowed.
It's clear.
And was this the reason why the CO was fired? The language?
Well, I'll be honest with you. That when so obviously I reviewed. I got a phone call almost immediately after it happened, and they advised me of what happened. I said, okay, get me. Where's our CO at now? I assume he's sent home, correct? And that was correct. Get me some camera footage, body camera, some kind of camera footage. And yes, my initial reaction was, man, I'm not even going to tolerate and I know it was just kind of a quick, it was hey, face the effing wall. Flick said, I am facing the wall, which, he's sitting here like this. Obviously, he looks like this to tell him I am facing the wall. And it was, I told you to face the effing wall. And I told my chief deputy, man, I've terminated other people for that. Now there was more of a history of, I've already set you down and talked to you. I hadn't ever sat down with, I say that. I haven't one-on-one sat down with this corrections officer, but we did have a meeting right here in this room, a dinner in which all of our corrections officers were here, and we talked about, I said, I want to make this, I said, we're going to make this very simple. We're going to talk about two basic principles, and honestly, they're biblical principles. We're going to talk about fulfilling our mission statement of doing justice, loving mercy, and being humble. And then the other thing we're going to talk about is the golden rule. Everybody knows it. Treat others as you would want them to treat you. And so I talked in that meeting with all of the staff present. Again, I said, guys, again, I know I may get laughed at some on this, but don't want to hear the F-bomb. I get it that it could happen. I'm not looking to, oh, okay, you're gone. But just the casual use of, I said, face the effing wall. They know good and well that we don't get that.
Was this CO fired for his language or for firing the pepper ball shot?
Well, I will say that right off the bat, fired for his language, because that is conduct that we that I make it very, very clear we don't tolerate that. And we're not going to. So when I saw that, I'm like, just right off the bat,
GW plays.
I don't like this interaction, and you know that you can't use that language.
So, if I understand this correctly,
Mm-hmm.
you made a decision to terminate
Mm-hmm.
while an investigation was going forward about the
That,
pepper ball
so
shot.
that is correct, because what we did, as soon as I found out, the chief deputy called me, and so said, okay, let's make sure that he is home, sent home immediately, and on leave until we notify him further, and make sure and go ahead and call our detective captain, have him get the detectives in immediately this evening to interview all of the inmates and the people that were involved, and get your reports together and file it with the prosecutor. It's up to the prosecutor on what
Right.
happens beyond that. So yeah, he was terminated the very next morning. I told the jail captain, I said, go ahead and contact him and let him know that he's terminated. And so yeah, I terminated him because of I can't have that kind of interaction. And our inmates know it. They're all very clear. If you go back there, we could go back there after and just walk into a cell block, and they will tell you this is a different place than it used to be. I had some insurance people here the other day, and we was taking a tour of the jail, and we went into a cell block, and the guy said, "Hey, Sproles, we was just talking about you," and I was like, "Oh, great! There's got insurance people here." And I said, well, I hope it was good. They said, no, it's good. They said, here's what we're talking about. The one guy said, I've been in and out of this jail 20 years. He said, I used to have to fear other inmates and fear the staff. They were abusive with their language. They constantly.
No, nobody
us.
said this.
I don't have to worry about that anymore. And
nobody said that.
It's a different, as I've said from day one, we've got to create a different culture. It's all about the culture. There's a famous statement that culture eats strategy for breakfast. You can have a lot of plans, but if your overall culture is bad, everything is bad. When I took office January 1st, we were about 6 full-time correction officers staff short. We always ran 6 and 7 short full-time. I didn't know why the council and commissioners, they thought, well, I guess it's because we don't pay enough. We filled every full-time spot in January.
Well, wait, stop.
We had full staff in the jail
I
from
heard
that day to this.
Wasn't he bitching he couldn't get them because they didn't pay enough?
That's what I thought.
And now he's saying that that's what the commissioners and the counselor said, was that the pay was just too bad. He's the one that's been bitching about that.
Yeah, that was not. Yeah.
He can't even keep his own lies straight.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's exactly why we are watching this. And I know it's a little long. I know that this was a little long. We're not close yet, but
with a waiting
yeah.
list. And I will tell you that it is because that we are creating a culture to where people don't come into, life's hard enough. And I'll tell you, coming in and working back there on the road, we may deal with the combative situation for a little bit. We drop them off here and then we leave. They're stuck with them 100% of the time. And so just the change in the culture that we've had, it's been phenomenal. And that's why we're maintaining staff. People want to work here. And so we can't, it's something that we've got to, we've got to stay focused on. We have to maintain this culture. We can't just let it get back to, F this, shut your effing mouth.
The old jail had a reputation.
It did.
I think it earned it based on what I've been told.
I think
before
so.
my time here.
Yep.
But I need to ask you about the beanbag incident from last July. My first question is, you have staff. You tell me that you're a delegator, but you're the one that shows up with the beanbag shotgun and the helmet.
Yeah.
Why?
So, there's a lot to this situation, and I'll try to say everything that I can. Obviously, there is pending civil litigation over that from the inmate. However, the FBI investigated that thoroughly under the direction of the Department of Justice, and it was a lengthy investigation. So there's a lot of things
still waiting
involved,
on this.
But to specifically answer your question on why I went back there, I did not. I inherited. That sounds wrong, but the inmate was here when I took office. I had never interacted with him. I didn't know him from the street. In fact, I think he's was from Indianapolis area and sometimes would be in this area. He had been in our jail off and on, but I had never encountered him. I did not know him. But I had been called several times early on, like maybe 2 months into it. I can't give you the exact dates, where I would have jail staff call me, the jail commander call me. I remember, I think both times, and there may have been 3 times, it was late at night, said, hey, listen, Marquette is refusing to lock down. He's wanting to fight. And, I did know, I was made aware by the jail commander that Marquette had a history of injuring our corrections officers. I think he injured multiple corrections officers in one altercation several years ago. So again, I didn't know Marquette. The jail commander had told me that, and it always told me, man, he's a big guy, and he wants to go hands on. He always wants to go hands on. So,
but about that incident,
yes, sir.
The thing, we had the video for a while and re-reviewed it the other day. I thought your officers acted with appropriate de-escalation technique every step of the way. He was not compliant. He was difficult. He was being destructive. And eventually they got him to where it is that he could be out of the way and no longer a problem. So he's inside this cell. Has anybody ever kicked their way out of a cell?
No, but we have had severe injuries occur from kicking or punching, headbutting the corner of a bunk. But
he wasn't doing that.
What I want to connect on to what I was saying there, and it leads up precisely to this. What I told,
don't hurt my door.
When
it's
I got
worth
called
more
in
than your
a
life.
couple times, is I told the jail commander, listen, tell Marquette that I am not going to send people, because he was like, I'm not going to lock down. Like, I'm not going, when lockdown is,
go back into
go back and say, I'm not going to do it. You're going to make me do it. You're going to send people in here basically to make me do it.
But eventually you got coaxed into
Correct.
Your booking area.
Yes.
He walked into a cell.
Correct. Yes.
I mean,
and I'm leading up to that.
Right.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I told our jail commander in the previous instance, listen, tell Marquette, we're not going to send people back there. tell Marquette
You did
plainly
it though.
that I will use a beanbag gun for him to comply. He's going to go to his cell. I said, I'm going to come up. I'll call our road officers in, but I'm not going to come back.
I'm going to use, so we're trying to do this the easy way, and I'm testing him and I'm letting him know you're going to do it or I'm going to use the beanbag gun on you. Now, that one night I looked for it and we didn't find it, and I got tired of messing with it. But there's the point where Guffey walks in and says he's going to bring the gun up and he's going to shoot you. And he's like, you ain't going to shoot me with a real gun. It ain't a real gun. He ain't going to do anything with me with a beanbag gun. I'm telling you, Sproles got off on doing that. And it was gross.
There. I don't want him to think that he can get the sheriff back here whenever he wants to. So I said, I'm going to come up. I'll have our road officers up here, but I want you to go de-escalate it and tell Marquette, look, Marquette.
No, the problem, the mayor, because a lot of people are saying, can the county attorney or can the insurance company lawyers force him to shut up? It's like this. It's like if I'm the mayor of Muncie, and I have a police chief that works underneath me. He's the police chief. He's the chief of the department. But I appoint him so he works for me. And he's out there on the street doing something, and they're like, okay. And the attorneys say, hey, shut up. And he's like, no, I'm not going to. The attorneys can tell me, and I can go to that police chief and say, hey, you're done. You're done. And if the chief says, no, I'm not going to do it, then I fire that police chief and appoint someone else. The problem is, if it was the commissioners and it was a street employee, they could tell him to shut up or they could fire him. Okay? Something like that. The problem is, Sproles is an elected official, and he's not an elected official that works. He works for the people, and there's no way to get rid of him other than if he's charged and convicted of a crime. He has to be convicted of a felony. He has to leave the area, move out of the area in which he is elected for, or if God forbid if something happened, I don't want to wish anything bad happen to anybody, but those are the things that happen. So no, unfortunately, and I know that Joel is just at a loss. While I've got this pause, I will have you note that the other day I did issue a request for the GPS of Sproles' vehicle during the pursuit in which the fatality occurred. And Joel Harvey responded to me and said that he will have that information to me within 14 days. So that's rolling. So here we go.
You're not going to get a hands-on conflict. The sheriff said that if you do not comply, that we have tools for that, and we will use a beanbag. Well, twice that helped him to go back in the cell. Finally, okay, I'm going to go back in the cell. So a couple things that are a little deeper on the he complied, and he did he did comply, and our officers did a good job with de-escalation, especially you see the big guy, the big officer we've got.
Hard to miss.
Hard to miss. The former NFL football player. Nice guy, and he did.
He was working consistently.
Yes.
He was the one person that Neil would listen to.
That's correct. Mm-hmm.
And got him into that cell.
Yeah.
So the door closes.
Yes.
He's still misbehaving.
Yeah.
But he's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And the only person he's ever going to hurt.
Did they really have a really hard time getting him to go in the cell? At that point in time, he was really being really compliant.
Yeah.
But when they shut the door and they closed the window, then he started kicking it.
Yeah.
When they opened the window, he'd quit kicking it. Well, leave the window open.
Yeah.
Right. This was not a difficult situation by this point in time.
Yeah. Yeah. It was hairy for about the first 10 or 15 minutes, honestly.
Kick the door until he gets tired.
Yeah. So what the one thing that we can't do, and I have some experience in kicking doors from the road, and I'll be honest.
He's so stupid. You know the difference, though? You want me to tell you why he's stupid? And let me tell you exactly why he is stupid. Because he's talking to a reporter. That reporter, to my knowledge, probably never kicked a door open in his life. Guess what? I have. I've kicked the door down. I've kicked the door in. I've kicked several of them in. When you're kicking a door in, when you're kicking at the point where the door is going to give way, you're kicking at the lock point or in the middle of the door, one, to get it to go in, depending on, because a lot of doors out there takes a kick or two and you're in, they're just not that tough. Some, at some of the drug houses they fortify them, but you're using other things other than your foot. You're using a battering ram or whatnot. But you kick at the lock and you get it in, and the door swings this way. I've never went up and kicked the opposite way of the door. Marquette Neal's not kicking the door in. He's kicking the door more closed. So, no, first of all, Sproles, maybe 2 doors he's kicked or 3. He was on the SWAT team for a year, so they may have had 6 issues, I'm telling you, yeah. What the Kool-Aid man say when he went through the door? Oh yeah, is that what it was? That's what we do every time I get in the door. Police department search warrant. Bang! Oh yeah.
This was on my mind. I remember kicking a door. We had to get in. It was as an exigent circumstance. Had to get in, kick the door, and everything's fine. One kick from me, the door goes in. It's all fine until the next morning. I tried to get out of bed. I couldn't walk for a week. My knee was swollen up, and so kicking a door, you can injure yourself. So so Steve, the big guy, he had done a good job getting him in there. But then he started kicking the door, and he had already been told, previous to me coming in there, he had been told, you are going to comply. We're not going to send people in to get you.
There was no reason to send people in.
He would grow his fingernails long. He wanted to fight. And at least that is all that I had ever known of him. And again, I had never seen him.
Once the door's closed on the holding cell, okay, you don't want to send bodies in there because you think that's what he wants.
Right.
Okay, so you don't want to put your staff at risk.
Right.
So if he's kicking the door and he can't get out, and the only person he's ever going to hurt is himself, let him have at it. If he damages the door, charge him for destruction of property.
No, I wasn't. I was never concerned about him damaging the door because I knew he couldn't. What I was concerned about is that he is going to the amount of force that he was kicking with. You'd have to have been there to understand. It was shocking actually, and he just had slides on. He didn't have like tennis shoes on. He had slides on, and I couldn't. Now he's got all of our attention. We're telling him stop kicking the door. I can't let him shatter his ankle or splinter his shin bone on that door.
Kicking that door. This is a compliance. I've told him you're going to quit kicking that door, and if he doesn't, I'm going to make him pay for it. Sproles saying it right here. Man, this needs to be used in the lawsuit. This right here. I mean, he's telling you right here, you can see in his face, I cannot have him outdo me.
We most certainly are going to get sued. You sat there and watched it happen. You watched him splinter his shin bone on that door. Why didn't you do something? So, we have to, it is our duty to maintain order. And, I realized that he wasn't, so Steve, as you said, had a good rapport with him. He's going to have a good rapport with anybody when Steve says, hey, you do that. I'm like, okay, sure. But Steve had a good rapport with him. And I realized that finally, because Steve kept on saying, hey, you can't stop kicking the door. Steve told him multiple times, don't kick the door anymore.
Yep.
And so when I realized, okay, now Steve he's not listening to Steve. So at that point, I know he's not listening to anybody else. So that's when I stepped up. I want to explain my helmet real quick. Somebody said, why do you bring your helmet? So that cell has a metal bump in it.
Yep.
You never know when an inmate can fake having a heart attack. Oh, what are you going to do? man, we got to go. And you get in there and all of a sudden you're in an all out fight. I didn't want to get my head popped off the corner of a bunk bed. So, I looked goofy with the helmet on, but that was for, I don't know what we're going to encounter. I don't know if he's going to fake an injury and we've got to go in there and then all of a sudden we're in a fight for our lives. But so I knew that Steve had done a great job of de-escalating, but I knew that now he's telling Steve, I think he made a comment of, Steve said, hey, you're going to have to go to the padded cell. He said, something of the effect, I'll tear the padded cell apart and I'll kick that door too. So somewhere in that timing is when I stepped up, again, first time I'd ever seen him, I showed him the orange deployment device. And I just plainly said,
it's a shotgun, you fool.
Again, or you're going to get a round. And I can't remember the exact words. It's obviously out there on video. Something to the effect of bring it on, MF, or something like that. And he rears back and kicks the door as hard as he can. So, we're in a difficult spot at that point. He's still kicking the door. He still can injure himself. The beanbag deployment device and the beanbag itself is the ones we use are made for a zero
I don't know.
GW
plays
like you've got to be 21 feet.
Zero standoff.
Zero standoff set means that you can. I hate to use the word point blank, but you can use it point blank. Now you don't shoot people in the face or something like that, but bigger muscle group areas. Well, not shoulders, but the hamstrings, calves. So, I had very clearly said, do not kick the door again, or you're going to get a beanbag round. That's when he made the comment of something of bring it on, kicks the door as hard as he can. I deployed one round right behind his, right in the hamstring area. And then he said something like, is that all you got?
Does it?
And, hey, just don't kick the door again. I just can't let him keep doing that and injure himself. That is the primary concern. It is not the
you might be right.
damage.
I like how he makes it sound like he was being so gentle with him. Don't kick the door again. I don't want to have to do that again.
Yeah, right.
Where he's actually outside, got a raging erection, screaming, "Woo, we'll go all night."
Unfortunately, sometimes things, not knowing the whole context, it can, and it looked terrible. I hated it. In fact, I did not watch that video. I did not watch it until the FBI, when they were investigating me. They're like, well, let's go through it and watch. And I said, I haven't looked at it, and I
don't believe
want
that.
to look at it. I hate it because he ended up obviously getting injured. It broke the skin behind his left knee and his right knee, and I hate the whole thing. So they said, no, you're going to watch it. I hated he watched. Goes, yes. It looked terrible.
But do you see the irony here? You didn't want him to hurt himself, so you fired beanbag rounds that injured him.
Yeah. So beanbag rounds are they are to be used to neutralize a situation. Again, I can only go by my experience in training. If I have if I'm on the other side, and so I said, hey, look, dude, don't kick the door again, or you're going to get a round. Like, I'm pretty sure I'm not going to kick it again. Now, I can tell you this. If I do go ahead and kick it in and I get one of those rounds in my hamstring, I'm thinking, holy crap, there's some potential there. I would think I would process like, wow, I don't know if it's worth doing it again. And then again, you get another round. I guess the reasonable deduction would be that he would stop. And, the first two rounds didn't injure him. And unfortunately, again, I said, you will get a round. I didn't pap, give him the opportunity. And quite frankly, I was shocked. Like,
did it occur to you that after two rounds, if it's not working, that's not going to work?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that obviously was a consideration. And I did not know, as any of us did not know, that he had been injured until after. I've ran into people like, oh my goodness, that is, that's so-and-so who has hated on me forever. Like they grew up with me and I did some awful thing to them. And I'm like, I just met him for the first time. So there is a coordinated effort. It's very clear. There is a coordinated effort to get people to file claims.
And aim you?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
Why would they target you?
Yeah. So I have multiple claims from a certain attorney regarding a certain thing that is, it's a coordinated effort. And the interesting thing, and I'll just speaking on my local government here, I have people in local government who are, I hate to say this, but I think somewhat enjoying the fact that our insurance has been canceled. When you call a
he is so stupid,
that is live streamed, and you as a commissioner tell the insurance agent, I want you to get up and I want you to publicly say that the insurance is getting canceled because the sheriff's office is the direct, and I had one of my commissioners say it's because of your direct actions, and it's amazing that they will. Basically, what they're doing there is saying with a megaphone, "Hey, continue to sue, continue to file tort claims. It's working. It's working. Continue to file tort claims on our sheriff. You're getting the job done." I've just been shocked at our several commissioners, a couple of our commissioners. You
only have 3.
That's correct.
Back up. Yes. Jack, you're right. I apologize about that. You are correct. The door opens out. I don't know why I said the other way. You are absolutely right. So I was wrong about that.
Does it really matter?
The door's not going anywhere.
The door's not going to open, right?
The door's not going anywhere. Yeah, that's the main.
It would take a rhinoceros to get that door to open from the inside.
Yeah, right.
Okay.
That's right. So, God, what he's saying here is insane, man. Who's he talking about? Who's the coordinated effort? Gavin Rose hasn't filed multiple. I don't know what he's saying. He is insane.
I got it.
So if you couple, it's almost all of them. It's a majority.
Yeah, it is. It is. It is. And it's
so you're saying they have questions about your administration of your department. How
yeah. So I'll say this and make no apologies for it. One of the commissioners.
Name the name.
Steve Dellinger, Commissioner Dellinger. Commissioner Dellinger, I feel he's had it in for me from day one. And let me explain why. It's laughable. But it's clear. So when I took office, we cut out special.
I don't believe this. Let me tell you right now, folks, everything that you're getting ready to hear him say, everything that he is getting ready to say right now is bullshit. This did not happen.
Deputy police power privileges. We had people all over this state that had Henry County Sheriff's Office badges, ID, and full police powers because they were buddies with the previous sheriff. It's just, it is what it is. So talk about
not reserved special deputies.
That's correct. Not reserved special deputies.
Please continue.
Yes, who do nothing for our sheriff's office. Nothing. So I made it clear, and I knew I was going to take huge pressure over this. Talking about, believe me, I am concerned about liabilities. I understand liability as a business owner. When I make mistakes, I'm the one that, and I've made plenty of them. I'm the one that eats the financial loss of it. So, my goal coming in was to limit the liabilities. And I knew we've got people everywhere that have full police powers that are working full-time jobs as security in Indianapolis area and other areas, making $50 an hour, using our badge, wearing Henry County Sheriff's Office clothing. And all we have to do is get into an incident, and guess who gets sued? Us. So coming back to Steve Dellinger, I just made it clear.
Has January that happened 1st, once?
All of these special deputy police powers.
That's what I'd like to know is, because it's not just Henry County that this happens. It happens everywhere. And I don't know that I've ever heard of an incident like this happening. I get what he's saying, and it could.
Yeah, I get what he's saying too, but is there a precedence to be concerned about it?
I don't think so. The bottom line is the sheriff has the authority to do what he wants with that. And, I don't know what it is of Sproles' right or authority. If a former sheriff gives me an honorary sheriff's deputy badge, makes me an honorary blank county sheriff deputy and whatever, special deputy, that's that sheriff during his time doing that. I don't know what it is of Sproles' right to say I'm doing different with that. Maybe don't let them work whatever security, but
the sheriff can say no longer.
So you cleared the roster.
Cleared the roster of. Do you know that they didn't even know how many? The previous administration didn't. I asked for a list early on. They said we don't have one.
Absolutely.
So after I after I won the general election, I said, hey, I've got to have a list. You're going to have to, he said, well, I guess we can make one. Well, you're going to have to make one because I need to know who I need to contact. There were like 50 or 60 people on the list. And when I looked at the list, I thought, well, I know 10 people that are not on this list that have police power. So going back to the commissioner, he come up to me after January 1st. Hey, I've always had a police special deputy badge and police powers. Just wondering when you're going to get that for me. I said, well, Commissioner, I'm sorry, but we've eliminated that. And after about 4 or 5 times, and I'm not kidding you, and the last time he said, hey, what about that special deputy badge? And I said, Steve, I told you, we're the only people who are going to have badges is going to be people that have to have badges to perform the duties for the Henry County Sheriff's Office. And you know what he told me?
Wait, well, replay what, Jack?
Yeah, I know.
So he threatened you?
Well, I don't take it as a threat. But so you know what? From then on, you know what I get?
Replay it from where? Replay what? How far back? Let me go backwards here just a few seconds.
And after about 4 or 5 times, and I'm not kidding you, and the last time he said, hey, what about that special deputy badge? And I said, Steve, I told you, we're the only people who are going to have badges is going to be people that have to have badges to perform the duties for the Henry County Sheriff's Office. And you know what he told me? Well, I am a commissioner, Yeah, I know.
So he threatened you?
Well, I don't take it as a threat. But so you know what? From then on, you know what I get? Just you ought to watch our commissioner meetings.
I have watched
it. The tension is so shocking. It's unbelievable. I go in and ask for the last commissioner meeting, $12,000. Oh, you saw it, the new conference table. We didn't have anything in that room. It's a conference room, right? We didn't have any conference furniture there. I go and ask. We have a bond that has, I don't know, a couple $100,000 left to furnish this building. It's all it can be used for. It can't be used for this or that. It has to be used for furniture. The county highway guy gets up in front of me and takes about 3 minutes and gets $370-some thousand worth of equipment approved. I get up there and say, I've got this quote for a conference table, and it just froze. They're like, well, what kind of chairs are these? Oh, you're gonna love this because you're sitting in them. These are 24/7 chairs. Do you need 24/7 chairs? Is somebody going to? And I didn't even know what they was talking about. I didn't know they were considered 24/7. I didn't even know. So I said, I don't know. What are you talking about 24/7? Or do you have to have 24/7? So I get smacked around. It's pathetic.
So what you're saying is, with these civil suits,
yes,
that you've been named in,
yes,
he's taking that as a political
dude. You tried to add $2 million to your budget this year,
Mr. Plummer,
and they increased a whole hell of a lot. They don't have the money for you to nickel and dime them. The street department got $300,000 for equipment, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. And I want to, yeah.
You spent $60,000 on mirrors without getting approval first.
Without getting the approval. And listen, and they need to, so I don't know what, and I'm not putting this on Bobby and I'm not putting this on Steve. I'm putting this on the people before them. They just built a new jail. And the jail's already overcrowding. For what something's going on, I don't know. They need to look at crap there. They don't see what's going on, but it's already overcrowding. They're getting ready to need to build a new pod or a new jail. I don't know what they're going to do, but he's worrying about spending thousands and thousands of dollars on chairs and a table. It's like, make do for a minute, man. You got to build a new pod or some crap. But I want to go back real quick on the bull crap of the Dellinger thing. And I want to make sure people are aware. Okay. When you're a police officer, you're either a full-time, there are 3 types of police officers. Full-time / merit, part-time, which can be / merit, or a reserve. And those are the officers that have police powers and are out doing shit. All right. Now, the sheriff can make someone a special deputy. And with that special deputy, they can say, all right, we're going to make you a special deputy and you're going to work security at the door. Now, what happens most of the time when they give the powers away, when they give the badge and the ID that makes someone a quote unquote special or honorary deputy, that is totally an honorific. It's something that is given to a man or a woman because of their commitment to the sheriff's department. You've donated $200
it's the sheriff's department version of the keys to the city.
Yeah, right. Of giving
it means nothing.
Yeah. You put it up on the mantle, and you see it, and people see it, and whatever. 1 out of 10 of those people might put it in their badge. They go get a special badge. And when I was a cop, I had a badge wallet, and you have a badge. You do that when you're an FNG, when you're a new guy, when you're a patrolman. After you've been in it 2 or 3 years, you don't want that shit in your wallet. Somebody comes rob you when you're off duty. You don't want a badge because they open up your badge. You're the first person going to get killed. So you take all that shit out and you hide it. You carry your ID with you, hid behind 2 or 3 cards, so hoping nobody finds it. Only the bottom line is Steve Dellinger. For anybody that knows Steve Dellinger, you know what ridiculous trash this is that he's talking about. But if you don't know Steve Dellinger, all I want you to do is I want you to take 3 minutes and I want you to watch that interview when Dellinger and Bobby Plummer and Joel Harvey are sitting there talking to Steve Brown. And I want you to hear Dellinger's like John Wayne, Now, look, he's probably going to like that I said that. But he's like John Wayne. He's like, sitting back. He's like the cowboy. He's not running around playing super Captain Cowboy police officer out here. He's not. He don't care about that. He's not doing anything with this. He don't care. It probably was a shock that you've got some, jerk off coming in here and taking away something that someone else gave him. But it's not like, well, dude, Well, I'm going to tell you right now. Listen, hold on. We want to talk about we want to talk about people not having badges. Hold on here just 1 second. Kate, can you put this picture up I'm getting ready to send you? I'm going to send you this right here. When you get that, if you can put that up in there, I would appreciate it. I just, man, it's, E-Jack, I want to know if this is who you're talking about or what you're talking about. Very good possibility this could be. Thank you, ma'am. Is it this? Is it this? Is this what you're talking about? My question is, who's this woman? Now, I've heard, and I hate to put her out here on blast. I am so sorry. I'm so sorry for this woman. I have heard from people that this woman is nice. She is a goody two-shoes good person, wants to help people, and I am so sorry that you're caught in the middle of this. But I know she's not a cop. I know she's not a sheriff's deputy. I know she's not a corrections officer. And she's got a sheriff's star on in that picture. So my question to the good sheriff is, who is this woman? And why is she wearing a badge like that? More importantly, good God, you know what I used to hate? You know what? I still hate it, even though I'm not a police officer, but I still hate it. I used to hate it. I used to walk in. I was a narcotics cop for a very long time. I was a plainclothes cop. And that means I'd have a gun on me, concealed, and I would have an ID on me, concealed, and I would have a badge in my back pocket or around a chain on my neck, under my shirt, something like that. I'd go into like Starbucks and I would see the Geek Squad people from Best Buy in there. They've got little badges that they wear. and they would be there and they would lift up to get their coffee and their badge would be there. And I would see they were a Geek Squad person. And I would always go up and tell them, I'd be like, hey, yo, you wear it if you want to wear it, but you might think about leaving that shit at work and not putting that on and wearing it around public, because you are going to be in a bank somewhere and some dude's going to come in robbing the bank and they're going to shoot you in the back of the head because they think you're the police. And you're not going to have a gun to defend yourself because you're the Geek Squad. You don't wear a badge around in public without a gun. Do not wear a badge without a gun. So I don't know if she's wearing that around like that. I hope she's not, for her safety and for those around her. I don't know who this person is, but I know that he does everything that he's griped about. Just FYI. So just FYI, he does everything he's griping about.
Crystal clear. And I have never, what have I done to them?
And it's not about the amount of money that these suits have already cost the county, because the price of insurance went up by over $200,000.
Yeah, correct. And so what I want to make very clear is there has been no judgments against me, none. There has been no judgments against me, no claims paid out. These will all see their day in court. And so we'll see. And like I said, I'm not nervous about any of them. I am an open book.
Yes,
I am not nervous about. I hate it because I'll tell you, I watched my other friends, sheriffs, go about doing sheriff business. And,
you don't have
and it seems like
they're
like, man, Sproles, you got the heat on you. I mean,
nobody says that to him.
How you run the department or how you have responded to scenes in plain clothes. None of this has anything to do with that.
Well, you can take whatever you want to and gin up I hear about this pulling somebody over in plain clothes in a plain unmarked police car. So all of that is so interesting. Very interesting to know.
There is a state law about that.
Can you quote it for me?
I have it in my computer on my desk.
Yeah, but look at it, and I know what you're talking about. Look at it clearly.
You can't issue a citation.
Correct. That's correct.
Unless you're either in uniform.
That's correct.
Or in a marked vehicle.
That is correct. So what people get confused, and you're on your game there. Most people don't do it. So, but most people understand that you can't pull somebody over, period, if you're not.
But if you can't do either of those things, then why are you pulling people over?
I'm glad you asked that question because it's very important. I don't know if you followed any of the town marshal issues that we've talked about and discussed. This is where I'm getting a lot of pressure because it's pressuring their livelihood. And this guy, for instance, I didn't know who he was. I had no idea until I pulled him over and went up to the car. And then I realized I know this guy because we've arrested him for impersonating before. And you know what is so unbelievable? If you will watch that whole video and that interaction, you know what I told him at the end? I am so concerned about this right here, about the unmarked cars. And I'm concerned about if you'll lie to me, you know who I am. You know I can figure out the truth. You'll lie to me. What will you do to the unsuspecting citizen that you pull over? Do you know what occurred out of the blue recently? He just got arrested.
I saw it. Right
here in our county for doing what? And you know what? Right in the same spot that I pulled him over.
Right. But here's the thing. At that moment in time, he did not have proof of ownership, didn't have registration, all that stuff. So my understanding is he rolled away without a ticket, right?
Rolled away without a vehicle. And because of being merciful, we didn't write him a ticket. We towed his vehicle because several things that you wouldn't know if you hadn't talked to me on it. First of all, he said he was bringing it directly from where he bought it from. Total lie. That proved out. And I think if you watch that video long enough, you'll realize that. So he's just driving with no plates. You can't do that.
No.
And so I didn't.
But why not you get on your radio and say, hi, there's a decommissioned police car without a plate on it. And it's traveling in this direction, in this community, and have some.
It's exactly what I did. See, this is the thing that, so I pulled him over.
Then why are you the one
getting all the heat?
Leading all of the questioning. The cop shows up, you say, see you later, bye.
Yeah. First of all, I've got to explain what the situation is. But the cop that showed up, I want you to know, and you won't see this from other reporting. I had done that. I'd already been on my radio. I said, I'm in plain clothes. I'm in an unmarked vehicle. Go ahead and start him this way. The reason I went ahead and turned the lights on, you can count how much time before the other guy pulls up, is because he was in a real safe spot and it gets into less of it. So, we're in a safe area. We'll go ahead and initiate the traffic stop, which is not illegal to initiate that anyway. But why am I involved? I guess the question is, why are you?
A uniformed officer in a marked car? He can write tickets up on this all day long.
Yeah. And you know what? I didn't want him to write a ticket because I'm not looking to punish people. I'm looking to at the bigger picture. Look, you can't be driving with no, and you know what is so interesting? I've got other video footage. I took him home. I don't know if anybody knows that. He didn't have a ride, so I took him home. Did you know that boy, and you could see it on the video. He cried there on the video. We get on, started the way home, and he starts crying. I said, buddy, listen.
What? That boy? Listen.
It will only get better if he pulls out those people.
Yeah. Hopefully that's coming when he talks. Hopefully we talk about the bus. But I just want to let you guys, here's that boy. Here's that boy he's talking about. That boy leaning up against his car there. I'm surprised you let that boy keep his hands in his pockets. Holy crap, man. Like, look, and I don't think he's, I just think he's stupid. He's not like, he's just not thinking about what he's saying. You know why? Because if you notice, Sproles is saying 1,000 words a second. Listen to me. Sproles acts like a criminal. Sproles acts like because Steve is just pop, 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 pop. He's popping him, and Sproles is feeling the heat. Sproles is like sitting in an interrogation, and he literally just called him that boy. Holy crap.
I'm not looking to punish people. I'm looking to at the bigger picture. Look, you can't be driving with no, and you know what is so interesting? I've got other video footage. I took him home. I don't know if anybody knows that. He didn't have a ride, so I took him home. Did you know that boy, and you could see it on the video. He cried there on the video. We get on, started the way home, and he starts crying. I said, buddy, listen, how can I help you? I'm not trying to, and I think you might have seen the video. Look, I'm not trying to be mean. And so I said,
I'm not trying to be ugly.
And he said, man, I'm supposed to be at work in the morning. And I said, okay. And he said, I have to have that car. So I said, well, listen, where do you work? And I will get you there. I'll take you there, or I will have somebody take you there. So he said, no, you don't understand. Get ready for this. I needed my police car for work. I work for a security company in Kokomo. So yeah, the lights they didn't work. When I pulled him over, there were pliers laying there and cutters. Like, crap. The wires appeared to be freshly cut.
Oh my God.
He needed his police car the next one. I'm trying to help the guy. I said, hey, I'll take you to work. You don't get it. I need my police car for work.
But I guess, but this is another situation where you are citizen John Sproles, not acting as Sheriff John Sproles, see something, you jump in. This is another tort claim. This is another potential lawsuit.
Yeah, so just a direct answer to that. Everything that you can make a potential tort claim out of anything that I do, anything in law enforcement that I do. So here's what I will not do. I will not buckle to the pressure of, especially a situation like that, an issue we've been having, an unmarked car, and lo and behold, he's now been arrested twice. Scary. Okay, I'm sorry. That's scary. I don't want our citizens. I want to call that stuff out.
You handed that off to the Newcastle police officer and drove away.
Right.
You're not engaging with this guy. There's no way they can file a tort claim on you.
What did they file the tort claim for?
For your interaction with him.
I initiated the stop. I mean, I needed to be there to pass it off to another officer. So I mean, I did the minimal.
But you didn't even have to initiate the stop. All you had to do was call it in and let them take it.
Yeah, I understand that we can, and I'll be honest with you, we have experienced past administrations who didn't do anything, and I don't really mean that ugly, but I want to tell you something. There is a duty that we have, and that I especially have, that the citizens have selected me to care for, to protect them, to serve them. And, to say, now I'm just going to walk away because, I'm not concerned about bogus tort claims. I hate it. I hate that. I hate that.
Travelers insurance was.
Yep. And I understand. And I want to say that very, very carefully. I don't like the liability. I've done everything that, that I can to try to minimize liability. But for me to not show up at calls, and just because I don't, there's a moral obligation at many times you need to be the one to take care of a situation. I mean, it's interesting that
how about you just drive a marked car?
One of my commissioners, I've heard, has told other people, can you believe that John can believe that John was out. He was out on that crash scene the other day. Yeah, it's phenomenal. And so yeah, this is a structure. There is a lot of narrative, of push this narrative. I'll tell you this. I want to be, I've got 4 years here. My pay, here's what is important. You know that my pay is no different. I only have to work 8 hours a year as a sheriff. That's ridiculous. That's the law. The sheriff has to work 8 hours a year. So I could walk away from this and just go focus on making money elsewhere. My salary is still established. I'm not going to do that. I am elected to serve our people for 4 years, and I'm going to serve them well.
So you're going to continue to, when you see stuff, doesn't matter if you're in uniform or not in uniform, you're going to continue to pull people over, ask questions, that sort of thing. You're going to keep doing it.
What do you hear a lot from government agencies, because it's important? When you see something, say something, right? So,
but again,
yeah.
You got radio, you got communication.
Yeah.
You probably know every cop in the county, right?
Yeah.
Okay. You could call that in, be the good citizen, and keep motoring down the road.
Yeah. Yep. And I'll tell you, we have had a leadership profile, if you will, of doing just that. You do this, you do that, you take care of that, you go do that report. And so I want to most certainly be respectful in everything that I do, and thoughtful. But I'm not going to dump off work on other people. Yes, I'm going to, when I'm in plain clothes and I see something that I need to, I'm going to call another officer. I'm going to have another officer out there, and you know, and I will interact as minimally as I can. But there are just some things you can't walk away from, and you know, it's interesting. There's a couple calls that are the hot topics. You know, all of these, there's a narrative, and they all have to do with certain calls and certain things. And
what's
so
that?
You know, believe me, the pressures of this job are they're unbelievable. But
I don't have any questions about the pressures or responsibilities of the job. I think, generally speaking, in this state, in this community, they're deeply respected, that law enforcement has an important job to do. But they're entitled to ask questions as to how the job gets done.
Absolutely. Yep. Absolutely. And you know, the thing that I am at peace with is, you know, I answer to our citizens. You know, I think the commissioners think that I answer to them. I had one of the commissioners tell me that after my first meeting, don't you ever get up here in a public meeting and just say whatever you want to.
That did not happen.
Email me what you're going to say before you get up here.
That did not happen.
And I said, well, just so you know, I speak to the citizens, and you know, the citizens
in a piss poor way.
It's in their power to retain me as the sheriff or tell me to go down the road, and I respect that. So, you know, I take this job very seriously. It's not a plaything. The weight of it is serious, and I want to live out our mission statement. I want to do justice. It's our job, but I want to be humble, and I want to have mercy. And
You're
so
anything but humble, dude.
That's my goal, and you know, the noise, especially the noise that is generated from so-called I don't know, let's just call them keyboard warriors. I've never, you know, I've been in leadership position honestly most of my life. I've had to fend for myself, and so I you know, I can deal with the pressures, and
no, you deal with it very.
And I want to respect all those people too. I don't hate any of these people.
Piss poorly.
I care about everybody, so they can, if they want to be miserable and wake up every morning thinking about what John Sproles is doing, that's up to them.
This disabled bus.
Mm-hmm.
You're on your way back from church, if I heard it right?
Correct.
Okay. Were you not satisfied with the explanation by Officer Humphreys that these folks just broke down and they're waiting on their relief to come and take care of this? Yeah, there are so many things to this story. I assume, and I would hope
there's so many things to everything.
Read my official complaint to the Shirley Police Department. I spelled out very, very clearly every detail of the situation. That is the most sickening thing that I have. That is one of the most shocking and sickening things, that to even have to answer the questions to this. Nothing against you at all, but this is shocking. When you read if you haven't, I would ask you to do so. I filed an official complaint with the town of Shirley,
and it was insane.
Officer Humphreys.
It was insane, ladies and gentlemen. If you have not listened to that video, If you have not listened to me reading down through the actual paperwork, the complaint that he wrote, it was like 9 pages, I think, in total. Between the phone calls and the messages that he wrote. If you not listened to that, you need to listen to it. It is wild. It's the craziest thing. I don't know how else to say it, but it was just it was really, really nuts. And it it is let me make sure it's in the Henry County. Oh no, that's the wrong thing. It is in the Henry County, Indiana Sheriff playlist, and it is somewhere between let's see here, common sense, decency versus the thin blue line. That's the Officer Sproles. I'm trying to think. I'll have to go back and look at it, and I'll put it in the description of this. But it's where he actually went in and he gave his actual complaint against Humphreys, and it was gross. So if you have not watched that, go back and watch it.
He neglected to do very basic duties. He had left that bus. He had been out there and left that bus sitting in one of the most busy areas. 109, you know where it's at.
Yes, sir.
The bus is on the white line. I can't tell you how many crashes. We work crashes out there, right there all the time. The failure of him to do basic duties on that is mind-boggling. Officer Humphreys should have been terminated immediately. He failed to abide by his department's body camera policies. You may not be aware of this, but he
turned it off twice. I know.
Yeah, only when he was talking to me. That incident was a setup to do exactly what is being done with it. I spelled that out the day that it happened. I typed an email and I said, this is all of this has shocking, and I cannot believe that Officer Humphreys is still an officer. I cannot believe it. Officer Humphreys is. You
wanted him fired?
Do what?
You wanted him fired?
No, I don't want to say that. I will say this. I can't believe he's still an officer. To neglect to leave children sitting in a bus on a busy intersection, that the bus is sitting on the white line. That is you don't leave a vehicle like that. You keep your police car back there with the lights on so people may know hey, we got to get over here. There is so many things to that situation that is sickening to me. And I have zero worry about that. You know, if they want to sue about that, it is a shocking and sickening thing. And you, could I ask you, did you read the complaint that I filed with the? Oh wow, okay. I want to get that to you because it's just going to point out some facts. You're going to be, oh, whoa, it's scary.
His chief says he was verbally talked to about turning off the fire.
Yeah,
but he wasn't about.
Yeah. Fire. Yeah. Well, the interesting thing, and that chief has slammed the phone down on me and lost his temper.
He thinks that they intentionally broke down a bus. He's somehow in cahoots with a dance team from out of state. Convinced them to fake breaking it down on the side of the road just to make Sproles look bad.
Actual federal agency.
He's insane.
And he was forced to resign from VA police, and he was forced to resign from the other. So Officer Humphreys is, again, he fits the description of what I have come out very boldly against, that nobody else would, about these town marshals who get their badges to go work $50 an hour security jobs. He fits that bill, and I make no bones about it. These are scary things. These people run around with badges everywhere. They're all upset because I've called them out, and they know, like, okay, we're walking a tough line here because this is an absolute joke to any reasonable person. What we're doing, we're working in the town of Greensboro for free. Well, why would you do that? The state police are they're having to pay $70,000 a year and they still can't fill their roster. But for some reason, I've got a little town of 123 people that has 25 police officers who want to come down there and sit and watch. That town is measured in acres.
It's small.
Okay. Somebody explain this to me. They want to drive from over an hour and pay for their fuel and buy their own police cars because they care about Greensboro? Now, you can't explain that.
Well, I'm talking about the town of Shirley, but
yes, correct. It has some of the same situations.
I want to point something out to you.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a very indelicate question.
Okay.
I'm going to point something out to you.
Is it delicate or indelicate?
Indelicate.
Okay. I don't know. Your vocab is bigger than mine. What is indelicate? Hey, hold on for a second.
Jesus. Listen. Are you all watching this? Is he sitting there with a diaper on? I know he's just pouring buckets of sweat. Like he seriously is like, he knows he's in trouble here, and he is nervous as all get out. His eyes are red. He's like thinking, like, when's this interview going to be over? I owe Steve Brown a beer, a steak. This is the best thing that I've watched in a very long time.
Oh, I'm an open book, so I'm not going to get upset with
Officer Humphreys, the gentleman who led the dance troupe, Marquette Neal, the gentleman you pulled over in town. They're all black. You have a problem with people of color?
You know, it's so funny that you asked that, because I think I randomly just told a story about something before we started.
No, I understand.
Yeah. So that, I think that would, my wife, I am just now thinking it's funny that this came up, because
Oh my God. If he's literally getting ready to tell us that his wife was born in Papua New Guinea. Now, his wife is white. His wife is born to a white man and a white woman. It's like Dave Matthews saying that he's an African American. Dave Matthews, for all you folks out there, the singer that songs like this, Ants Marching, he's an African American. Sproles is getting ready to play My Wife is Born in Papua New Guinea. So I am not a racist. My wife is a Papua New Guinea person, whatever that is. Let's listen to this.
My wife grew up where? Papua New Guinea.
Oh God. And what does that matter, dude? She's whiter than Sproles is.
All black people that were, how do I say? I mean, they are not
more than trash. They were eating bugs. They were all bad people. They were all out conjuring and doing all, like, listen. Do you? I know I'm not racist. I just hate black people. Like, that's the answer he's giving.
As cultured, I don't know what the word is, as we are here. Okay. My mother-in-law, whose husband just died in front of my house in a terrible accident, they gave their lives to black people, to the black people back in the bush in cannibalism area of Papua New Guinea. There are now 600.
Hold on.
My mother-in-law, whose husband just died in front of my house in a terrible accident, they gave their lives to black people, to the black people back in the bush in cannibalism area of Papua New Guinea. There are now 600 organized churches from that. So to this is so shocking. I don't dislike the question at all.
But that's not you.
Oh, that is me. I believe me that
what your in-laws did.
Yeah.
Is not you.
My wife's, some of her best friends are black.
My wife has black friends, so I'm not a racist.
Hold on.
Oh my God.
Hold on.
Oh, all he needs is thank you, Mayor. That's it. The next thing that comes out of his mouth is, my dog is black.
Oh my God. This is he doesn't have a problem with black people because his wife about got eaten by some in the bush in Papua New Guinea. Is this guy is disgusting. Look at this. Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta get somebody on here real quick. I can't. We're almost done. This is almost over. Just bear with me. I had not watched this, folks. I'm watching this for the first time I've ever seen this. I've never seen this before tonight. I had never seen this before right now with you. So okay, I want to make sure. Mary, tell me when you're here, because I gotta play this back. Yeah. Mary, tell me when you're here. This guy is insane. Okay. Holy shit. Mary, you got to watch all of this when you get a second. This is almost over. I'll send it. You can watch the whole thing, but you got to listen to this.
Gentlemen, you pulled over in town.
Listen.
That has 25 police officers who want to come down there and sit and watch.
Listen,
that town is
Mary.
measured in acres.
It's small.
Okay. Somebody explain this to me. They want to drive from over an hour and pay for their fuel and buy their own police cars because they care about Greensboro? Now, you can't explain that.
Well, I'm talking about the town of Shirley, but
yes, correct. It has some of the same.
So this has been going on for 57 minutes. We've got just a few more minutes. It's almost over. Steve Brown from Fox 59 is interviewing him. He's been in the hot seat, and Steve let him go for a little bit, and Sproles thought he was in control, and Steve just let him talk and get comfortable. And then all of a sudden, Steve is a far better investigator, interviewer, interrogator than Sproles could ever hope to be. Steve Brown then went bing, 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 and he's been lighting his ass up. Now, he's been asking him about Marquette Neal. He asked him about Rudick, and now he's been asking him about the dance bus. Listen to what he asks now. Watch his mannerisms, but listen to what Sproles says.
Situation.
I want to point something out to you.
Okay.
And I'm going to ask you a very indelicate question.
Okay.
I'm going to point something out to you.
Is it delicate or indelicate?
Indelicate.
Okay. I don't know. Your vocab is bigger than mine. What is indelicate? Hey, hold up for a second.
You should be.
It may be a question you don't like.
Oh, I'm an open book, so I'm not going to get upset with
Officer Humphreys, the gentleman who led the dance troupe, Marquette Neal, the gentleman you pulled over in town. They're all black.
They're all black.
Problem with people of color?
Do you have a problem with people of color?
It's so funny that you asked that, because I think I randomly just told a story about something before we started.
No, I understand.
Yeah. So that, I think that would, my wife, I am just now thinking, it's funny that this came up, because my wife grew up where? Papua New Guinea. All black people that were, how do I say? I mean, they are, not as cultured. I don't know what the word is, as we are here. Okay. My mother-in-law, whose husband just died in front of my house in a terrible accident, they gave their lives to black people, to the black people back in the bush in
the bush. Cannibalism
of Papua New Guinea.
Those cannibals, those cannibal black people.
Organized churches from that. So to this is so shocking. I don't dislike the question at all.
But that's not you.
Oh, that is me. I believe me that
what your in-laws did.
Yeah.
Is not you.
My wife's, some of her best friends are black. She grew up with them. Some of them live here now. And
so people are saying Sproles has got a problem with race.
Yeah.
You say
absolutely shocking for somebody to say that. Why don't
he's still not saying no
to a guy, a little black boy that's going to say, "Hey, Uncle John," and want to give me a hug, and we're not allowed to hug in here. And the little black girl that I drove to church, I carried her to church when she was a 3-year-old.
Oh, he also called Elvante Rodick boy. He also called him a boy. He also said, "That boy, I didn't want to hurt that boy."
And I carried her out as she was dying with cancer. Sometimes she wanted to come to church. I'm like, "Maybe you're too sick. You can't come to church." Right up like a week before she died. And I go running out with her holding a bucket for her to puke in. And to say that I have an issue with black people, it's sickening. But let me tell you what gives me some peace with all of this. Okay? It gives me peace. This is going to sound corny maybe to you, but God can control all of that. If people want to think that I have an issue with black people, it is unbelievable, and it's sad and it's sick. And all I can do, I guess, to offset that is live a life. People don't care what you say; they care what you do. Live a life of service and care for everybody. You know what? I want to read something that's important. I wrote this last night at 3:00 in the morning, and it's from my heart. I've told my chief deputy that, man, I want to come up with something that our officers, that every employee of the sheriff's office will read and sign, and it has to do with this exact thing. And it's about treating everybody with care.
Oh no!
I'm gonna make some glasses. Like
he's bringing in his manifesto.
So
yeah.
But this is important. Give me this minute here. This is what I come up with, and we're gonna look it over. But I want our officers to know my heart. And here's what it says: in support of the goal and expectation of the Henry County Sheriff John M. Sproles, that all employees of the Sheriff's Office exhibit and maintain the highest standards of professionalism, transparency, and accountability, and understanding the weight and gravity of being a member of the honorable profession of law enforcement, I do hereby pledge my commitment to the following actions. And I'm careful with this. I want you to pay close attention here. I will always attempt to conduct myself in a professional manner as I interact with my fellow employees and my community while at work. I will work hard to maintain the highest level of excellence in my conduct, uniform, equipment, and personal appearance. I understand that I am accountable to myself, my family, the entire Sheriff's Office team, and to the citizens of Henry County. Now, here's the paragraph that where my heart is.
We're talking about.
I acknowledge that all people are created equal by the Almighty. I will pay special attention
even those cannibals
to ensure that everyone I interact with while representing the office of the sheriff will be treated as someone having equal eternal value as me, regardless of their social, economic, religious, ethnic, physical, and mental status, and regardless of their actions and overall belief system. I'm almost done. While remembering the golden rule of treating others as I would want to be treated, I will give diligence to refrain from using the F word and other foul and abusive language during the course of my duties. I will give every effort to fulfilling the mission statement of the Henry County Sheriff's Office to do justice, love mercy, and be humble. So,
hold on. Where far? How far back?
And I'm careful with this. I want you to pay close attention here. I will always attempt to conduct myself in a professional manner.
All right, hold on.
Everybody, about treating everybody with care. I'm going to need some glasses like you have one of these days.
Bifocals.
So, but this is important. Give me this.
All right, listen to the speech.
Give me this.
We've talked about this on this program, but listen to it.
This is what I come up with, and we're gonna look it over. And but I want our officers to know my heart. And
that should not say John M. Sproles. That should say sheriff. His name should not be on his badge. He's such an idiot.
Here's what it says. In support of the goal and expectation of the Henry County Sheriff John M. Sproles, that all employees of the Sheriff's Office exhibit and maintain the highest standards of professionalism, transparency, and accountability, and understanding the weight and gravity of being a member of the honorable profession of law enforcement, I do hereby pledge my commitment to the following actions. And I'm careful with this. I want you to pay close attention here. I will always attempt to conduct myself in a professional manner as I interact with my fellow employees and my community while at work. I will work hard to maintain the highest level of excellence in my conduct, uniform, equipment, and personal appearance. I understand that I am accountable to myself, my family, the entire Sheriff's Office team, and to the citizens of Henry County. Now, here's the paragraph where my heart is. I acknowledge that all people are created equal by the Almighty. I will pay special attention to ensure that everyone I interact with while representing the office of the sheriff will be treated as someone having equal eternal value as me, regardless of their social, economic, religious, ethnic, physical, and mental status, and regardless of their actions and overall belief system. I'm almost done. While remembering the golden rule of treating others as I would want to be treated, I will give diligence to refrain from using the F word and other foul and abusive language during the course of my duties. I will give every effort to fulfilling the mission statement of the Henry County Sheriff's Office to do justice, love mercy, and be humble. So
if only he would live by that creed.
I look at this from a spiritual level. We are all created equal. I cannot fathom treating somebody differently because of the color of their skin, because of their economic status, the wealthy. I hate this stuff. I hate it's interesting. I get to see it now when I get around.
I didn't hear anybody whispering.
I hate it. I hate I'm the sheriff. That's one reason I ran for sheriff. I hate just the big tough, I'm the law enforcement. Let me tell you something. We're here to serve people. And we are not, I'll tell you, we had a hiring process recently and we didn't hire any of the applicants. And it was amazing to a lot of us. Like, we're not going, there are some people that are just, man, you know why they want to be here. They want to slap people on the ground, take them to jail. You know what? There are people that we're going to have to take down to the ground and bring them to jail. But you know, I want to treat everybody. They are as valuable as me. They may have less money. That'd be hard. I've got a decent salary, but I hate the status, and especially because they're black or whatever. I plan to go to Papua New Guinea next year because they're dedicating a building in the memory of my father-in-law. And it's going to be all black people. And you know what? There's going to be a lot of pictures of me with my arms around black people. And so I am shocked at these type of things and allegations, but I am
also, be holding me sideways.
Chaplain team in here yesterday. And man, I tell you, I just, we had a good prayer and I just felt peace of, man, I'm getting it from every which direction. But I'm going to care for people. And so there's going to be things that happen. Yes, I'm going to make mistakes. Yes, I'm going to be more wise in what I get involved in. I'm not too arrogant to say, hey, I'm going to pay attention. Yes, I'm learning.
He's going to be more careful. Stop this.
Help us.
He's going to be more careful what he gets into from now on.
Yeah.
Didn't he just repeatedly say in this video that if he had to do it again, he would have shot him?
Yes.
And that he's going to keep pulling people over when he's not in uniform.
Yes.
And he's going to continue to not delegate because basically there's like one person he can trust to delegate stuff to.
Right.
So he's got to have it. So what is he talking about?
He's talking in circles. Mary, I am so sorry. I hope I didn't wake you up. Yeah, Kate, you're exactly right. He's talking in circles. Listen to me. You've got to watch this entire thing. Please. I've sent you the link, and everybody in the group in there, Mel and JK, everybody's got to watch that in there because that is some crazy. This we've been watching this for the whole time. It's been saying it's almost over, folks. I apologize. It's been a long one. Let's just get through this and we'll wrap it up.
But I'll tell you what I am going to do. I'm going to be here for our people. I want to be here for our officers. And I'll tell you what I would invite you to do. Go talk to our officers. Go back randomly.
He literally, I'm not joking. He literally called Elvante Riddick boy.
Back in the jail pods and say, hey, what about this? Do you know the sheriff? What about the sheriff? I would, there's a box of candy bars there, 250 of them. You moved it. Okay. Let me tell you what those are for. I did this kind of right off the bat, and I thought, man, this is awesome. There's 250 candy bars in there. I will go through the jail to every inmate, let them pick out a candy bar. It gives me time to interact with them. I don't know how many people, this shocks me, that will say, I have never had a sheriff come back here. I've been in and out of jail I've never seen the sheriff. Oh, what are we doing? I intend to treat everybody back there the same as I'm going to treat my chief deputy and my detective captain and everybody else and anybody that I encounter out here on the street. And you know what? We're not perfect people. I am far from perfect.
Apparently.
But I'll tell you this, my heart is right. And I care about people, and the allegation of me having issues with Black people is shocking and detestable. And that's just, I'm sorry that people have to just get on these kind of, I don't know, trails or tracks, or apparently they don't have anything better to do. But you know what? I want to serve humbly. I don't know. So,
anything to add?
I probably said too much. This guy's going to go like, Sheriff, what about him? Oh, yeah, I'll add this.
Oh, God.
Lord willing, I hope to be here for 3 years at least. And I want reach out to me anytime. Listen, I am an open book. I am not. Listen, people, I think, picture me maybe differently than you. Go ask the people that know me, kind of guy at Sproles. Man, I've built houses for free because they had a child that had a physical condition. I used to give too much in my account. I say, Sproles, you can't give us money. When I found out, because then I owed the IRS tons of money, and I've had IRS agents say, do you realize how mad it makes us when you've given X amount of $1,000 to a charitable organization or a Christian organization and you owe us taxes? I'm like, I get it, man. I'm not I haven't been the brightest guy. So I've learned along the way to maybe cut the giving down, take care of your taxes first. But what I want to say to you is listen, you reach out. I got the attorney's like, Mr. Sproles, you need to not say, and I probably say too much, but I get sick of don't say anything about that. Don't say, come on, there are some facts that we can talk about. I would hope. And so I'm an open book. I want you to know that you can reach out to me anytime. I'm not going to.
Well, he's building the house for free, so he just didn't inform Gilman's that they were also going to be donating.
They were building the house for free. Yeah.
I'm doing this for free, and you're doing it for free too.
Yes, right.
He voluntold them.
It says that it was posted 6 days ago. However, I will tell you that he has mentioned that his father-in-law just died. And look, I'm not making any fun of that or anything. I mean, that's a horrible situation. And my thoughts and prayers go out to the family. And that happened some time ago. So this has been something that was recorded several months ago, and they've just now uploaded it. I wish they would have uploaded this a while back, but this is nuts.
Try to shield stuff. Let me tell you something. I've been through some things in life where I've had to step and say, hey, I have goofed up big time, and I'm just going to deal with the consequences of it. I'm sorry. And I've told people back in that jail, there's things I've done that I would trade for a jail stint. I've never been in jail. I've done some things that I would trade them out, give me a weekend in jail or a week or a year to take back some situations. But so that is, I'm an open book. You guys call me anytime, and I don't get, you can ask any question you want. I don't get riled up about, I'm open, and I found freedom in that. I have some friends who they like to act wealthy and big and tough, and I know, like, dude, you're hurting. I like when you'll know when I'm hurting usually. But I have some freedom. I don't have to carry a fake facade. You're going to know when you talk to me. You're going to know where I'm at, and I appreciate the same. I appreciate people saying, "Hey, what about this? It's a tough question." Well, I mean, it's better to just hit the tough questions and I've always found that that's the best way to do business, man. Just
did he ever actually answer that question?
No, he did not answer the question. And I'm going to tell you, and I have thought this. I've thought about this and thought about this and thought about this. And I've thought about how to talk about it. I've thought about how to mention it. And he literally has just said there that he's an open book. He's said it a couple different times. And so I'm going to say this on the record. I'm then going to message him this. And I want an answer too. So here's a question from me. Well, I'll let Steve roll up, and then I will finish on my question. Oh, wait, what is that? Was that it?
You helped make it happen, and I'm grateful. So patreon.com/smartereveryday. I want to show you.
Hold on, let me get that down. Okay, that was it. Here's my question to John Sproles. He's an open book. You're an open book. Steve Brown said that he was going to ask you an indelicate question. This is definitely more indelicate than what Steve asked him, but he said he was an open book. And so we're just going to rock and roll with it. I want to say this by saying I do not take lightly any kind of mental health issue whatsoever. I don't make fun of people that have mental health issues there, but for the grace of God go I. Any one of us next week could go through a loss of a family member, a loss of a parent, a loved one, a husband, a spouse, a child, could have a chemical imbalance. Anybody could be depressed. Schizophrenia could touch it, anything could happen. And it's tough. It happens to everybody. If you have issues going on, you need to seek counseling. If you are suicidal, definitely reach out, call somebody, call me, call 911, call your church, call somebody, call Sproles, call somebody. Don't deal with that alone. So I am not belittling or making fun of that in any way, but this is something that is out. It's something that's been going around, and it's something that needs an answer. At some point before Sproles became a sheriff's deputy, he had some kind of low point in his life. And Sproles had some kind of an argument with his wife. Something happened. I don't know what the happening was. And he decided that he was going to unalive himself. And he took, or was attempting, or was thinking of unaliving himself. And he took a handgun to the half-court line of the school building in which is next door to his property. And he was laying in the floor with his handgun, contemplating suicide. And the sheriff's department were called. The sheriff's department went in and talked to him, thank God, and they were able to take him away and get him treatment. Since he won the primary, someone from the Henry County Sheriff's Department has went in and deleted portions of that report and or changed portions of that report or screwed with portions of that report to make it less damning to Sproles. Now, I mean, listen, personally, is that something that the voters of Henry County should have known about? In a high-pressure job such as sheriff? Maybe so. Maybe so. The problem is not that it occurred. People have bad and low times, and they get treatment, they get taken care of, and they're better. The problem is, and I'm not mentioning anything, I'm not saying, look, he had this happen. I'm not talking about that. I am talking about the fact that if I issue a records request for that report, and I'm now going to do that since I'm officially talking about it live, I am told that that report will not reflect that Sproles was the one that was involved. That report has been tampered with. And I have heard through the grapevine from various sources that there is some kind of investigation into this. I don't know if it's the FBI. I don't know if it's the state police. I don't know who or what or where, what's going on. But I'll put it to you this way. Tom, Dick, or Harry didn't go in there and change that report. Who do you believe would have changed that report? Now, there's also, I have heard rumor of another report that involved family that at some point was doctored. So my question is to Sproles, who said he's an open book and he'll answer anything. Number one, did it happen? Number two, did you doctor that report? Do you know who doctored that report? Did you cause that report to be doctored because you thought it would hurt you in the campaign? You're already elected. Just come out and admit it if you did it. I'm going to start looking into this. And this has been the big thing that's been like riding on my back, whether I should talk about it, not talk about it. And for the longest time, I've not mentioned, I've known this since the election. Since right after. Now, I didn't know this beforehand. I did not know this beforehand, because if I would have known this beforehand, I would have released it. I'm not wanting I'm not wanting anything about his health care. I'm just simply stating the police report, and that's exactly incorrect. The thing is, if the police are called to a scene and they deal with the subject, that report would be a releasable report and is definitely something that would be accessible. The bottom line is, if Sproles went in and caused that report to be doctored, if he caused that report to be tampered with, or if he did that, that is a major, major problem. And as far as can I authenticate my source, I can't name the sources, and I wouldn't name the sources, but I can tell you the event happened. The event, there's no question it happened. This absolutely happened. This is an event that happened. There are several people on the sheriff's department currently that know that this happened. There are people that were no longer on the sheriff's department that know this happened. There were people who were there on the scene when this happened. My biggest issue I have is not the event, but it's the doctoring of the possible doctoring. If that is something, you know what? And I'll tell you, I have not talked to Landon about this, EJack. I would be willing to bet that Landon would know about this. And I'll be honest, even though Sproles treated Landon the way that he did, I don't think that Landon would do that, because I think Landon would think that was a low blow. But Sproles said there that he would answer that. And I think that he owes that to the people. So, all right, folks, that's it. We're done. This has been a long one. I can't even believe it. My grandparents even hung through and watched this. Can you believe it? It's midnight and they're still up watching this crap over there. Sproles is that interesting that my grandparents even stayed up and watched this. Mary, please, for the love of God, watch this from the start. You have to see it. It was a nightmare. I will be contacting Steve Brown tomorrow and telling him what a fantastic job he did. It's absolutely amazing. Makes me wonder if that was one reason why none of the former sheriffs supported his campaign. Eric Lewis, that could be very, 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 that could be a very good reason why that would have happened. So I'm going to be looking into this. We'll see what happens. Listen, tomorrow's Friday. I would normally be off on Friday, but we will be here. We've got a lot going on. I'm hoping to have some records tomorrow, so we will be doing a show tomorrow. Tune in right here tomorrow at 9 p.m. Eastern. We will be here. We will have a show. Thank you all for watching. This has been a long night. I apologize, but we've had to get through that. You guys have a great evening. Take care. God bless each and every one of you. Don't get Sproles. Good night. Goodbye.
He just needs to not do any more pressers.
Yeah. Absolutely insane. I tell you, dude, he acts so nuts.
I think I spent more of that interview with my jaw on the floor than I did listening.
I know. Good night, everyone. Thank you, Jack. Hey, we're 100 away from 1,000, so.
Oh, yeah.
Do your thing. Okay.